तो बता जरा बात करके बोलिए, वो कौन वीडियो को से चलाने क्या बोल दिए?
हाँ देवराज वीडियो।
Yes. मैम यूट्यूब का कर रही हूँ। हाँ प्रोसेस सर। हाँ
आपका आ रहा वॉइस? ये ना SSMV से ऑन हो गया, मेरे को लगता है इंडिविजुअल वीडियो से ऑन होना।
आवाज नहीं आ रहा, नहीं है, आवाज नहीं आ रहा, बोलो।
मैं फोन कर रही सर, उनको फोन नहीं उठा रहे।
हाँ लगाइए मैडम।
नहीं सर, एक्चुअली है ना, आप वीडियो जो प्ले कर रहे हो ना, वो है ना सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है।
हाँ मैं देख लिया, नहीं आ रहा
तो आप ही प्ले करो ना यार, तो आप प्ले कर दो।
हाँ हाँ, ये वाला कर दीजिए माइक।
आप प्ले करो।
But sir, if you can stop presenting, then I will present. Yeah, thank you so much.
पोस्ट
दुर्गा प्रसाद जी, पार्टिसिपेंट्स 10 कंट्री के लोग हैं उसमें।
ग्रेट सर, ग्रेट, थैंक यू सर।
देखो 162 हो गया।
ओके सर। सर मेरा वॉइस क्लियर सुन पा रहे हैं सर?
हाँ, क्लियर सुन पा रहे, क्लियर सुन पा रहे।
ओके फाइन, थैंक यू सर। सर और प्रिंसिपल रक्षा सिंह मैम का
आवाज कम आ रहा है, कम आ रहा है, थोड़ा जम के।
हाँ, एक मिनट मैडम प्लीज।
हेलो सर, मेरी आवाज आ रही है? राजेश सर, मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
कम कम आ रहा है मैडम, आवाज बहुत कम आ रहा है। मेरी आवाज नहीं है क्या उसमें?
सर इतना ही आवाज है सर।
देवराज सिंह की आवाज नहीं है क्या? दूसरा वीडियो प्ले करेंगे फिर बोल दो ना, आवाज नहीं है तो उसमें।
इतना ही आवाज सर।
शंकरा सॉन्ग लगाने का है क्या? पूछ लो मैडम से, पूछ लो, हो सकता है।
ये काम नहीं कर रहा है ना, काम
नहीं सर, देवराज भी उसी ने होस्ट रखा है, मैं अपना अलग से करती हूँ।
ऐसा।
हाँ,
वो
मैं
कीजिए
अपने
ना,
मोबाइल से करती हूँ।
मैं हाँ कनेक्ट है।
मेरा भी सर अपडेटेड लीजिए, वेबसाइट पे करिए।
जी सर, ठीक है, मैं स्टॉप करती हूँ।
अरे ये साउंड नहीं आ रहा है कोई भी वीडियो का।
आपका सॉन्ग वो करो ना, शंकरा सॉन्ग है ना, शंकरा सॉन्ग लगा दो नहीं तो। नेहा चेक करो, कौशल भी चेक करो।
सर मैं चेक कर रही सर, कुछ भी नहीं आ रहा।
आवाज नहीं आ रहा, क्या बात? उसे तो भी वीडियो चेक करो, दूसरा तो भी
आ रहा सर?
नहीं आ रहा, नहीं आ रहा, कुछ भी नहीं आ रहा अभी, नहीं आ रहा, नहीं आ रहा। शंकरा सॉन्ग देखो। रक्षा सिंह मैडम को अनम्यूट करो, रक्षा सिंह मैडम।
एक मिनट।
नेहा जब कोई कम थोड़ी देर। रक्षा सिंह मैडम आए देखो, उनको पोस्ट
हाँ।
बना।
कर दी।
मैडम गोपीचंद सर 1:30 को आने वाले हैं, मुझे मैसेज लगा है। मैडम पार्टिसिपेंट 10 कंट्री के, फिलीपींस के, पाकिस्तान के और मलेशिया, इंडोनेशिया, डिफरेंट कंट्रीज से इसमें।
ये आवाज क्यों नहीं आ रही है? इससे कर हेलो म्यूट करते हैं मैं अपना माइक ऑफ कर दूं।
मैम अगर है ना आप सिस्टम और फोन दोनों के साथ लॉगिन होंगी ना तो ये आवाज आएगी।
हाँ मैम। हाँ दिख रहा मैम।
अब कर दिया, म्यूट कर दिया। ठीक है, मैं भी वीडियो चला रहा हूँ। ठीक है।
Hi, I'm Michael from Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States, and I want to share with you how COVID.
हाँ,
म्यूट भी नहीं हो रहा। हेलो
जी मैम हम सुन सकते हैं आपको।
मैडम मैं अनम्यूट करके
थैंक यू मैडम। हाँ सर नहीं फ्रंट कैमरा यहाँ से भी कहीं
Hi, I'm Michael from Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States, and I want to share with you how COVID-19 has impacted me and my family. It's a novel virus, meaning brand new, not much is known about it, but what is known for sure that it has spread, infected, and killed many people across the globe and here in the United States. One thing's for sure, that this virus, it doesn't care about your ethnicity, your religion, your political views, your ideals, doesn't even care about the neighborhood you live in. And it's unpredictable how it impacts one person versus the other. So this unknown uncertainty around the COVID-19 is creating a lot of stress with me and my family and other people across the globe because of the unknowns and the potential of impact that it could cause if someone like yourself or myself or someone close gets infected by it. One thing I can share with you guys is that it has touched me personally. And I'm going to give you a contrast with another situation. I recently lost my mom to cancer about a year and a half ago. And when I think about COVID-19, it is so unpredictable where you don't know if you're going to be one of the ones that will succumb to it. The thing about cancer is at least you have the prognosis. You have time to either treat it, you try to beat it, the best you could with all the, latest and greatest medications available to you. And sometimes you are able to successfully beat it, and sometimes you're not. In my mom's case, she wasn't. But what's so scary about COVID-19 is that my sister, she's a nurse, a healthcare provider, where she contracted, at least it's believed that she contracted the disease from her facility at work. And to make matters worse, her son and daughter, which is my niece and nephew, was in very close proximity to her living in the same house. They was home from college. They tested positive for COVID-19 as well. So I had to manage that entire process, meaning my sister eventually had to go into the emergency room. She was admitted to the ICU. She was borderline needing to be intubated for a ventilator, but they was able to keep her on high flow oxygen. All the time she was there in ICU, they allowed her to recover eventually, which is the saving grace here. So although this turned out well, the kids came out okay as well. They recovered. Those anxieties are still there. The way we go about our day every day, like washing your hands and all of those things, the normal protocols we're all expected to follow, is strenuous. I mean, it should be common practice, but everything you touch now could potentially infect you if you've encountered someone else who may have been in that space. So for me, although we're doing fine and doing well, you still have that in the back of your mind that what if I'm the one that contracts the virus? And will I be one of those guys that comes out fine, or will I be the one that succumbs to it? And back to the story about my mom, we had time. It took a year and a half, 2 years before she finally succumbed to it. But with COVID-19, you're literally here to it's just that thing. Sum it all up, I would say anxiety would be number one. Stress comes along with anxiety, of course, but you still have to live. So you go about your day doing what you need to do and carry on, and pray in whomever you pray to that he will give you grace and bring you through it. So that's my story here from the U.S. And I hope that you guys continue to stay safe and have a blessed day. Thanks.
And these are my thoughts about coronavirus. Coronavirus has impacted my life in many ways. For example, I can't play with my friends or go to my favorite store. This is not just affecting me, this is also affecting everybody in this world. Even though there are many causes to this, I still get to spend more time with my family and learn new things. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.
नमस्कार समस्त वरिष्ठ जनों एवं गुरुजनों को मेरा सादर अभिवादन. I am Aditya Dwivedi from Bhilai, Chhattisgarh, and I am on your screen to share my thoughts on coronavirus. Everyone's saying how coronavirus brought their family together, which strengthened their bonds, and the same is true for me. But all said, there's no denying that the virus has turned our lives upside down. Like I love to swim and hang out with my friends, but nowadays all we can do is talk on phone. And obviously, we miss eating out with each other. I can't visit my cousins and relatives also. This year, I'm taking my examinations for class 12. I'm a student of science stream. Question paper of one of my subjects is remaining yet. It was previously scheduled on 21st March, but due to the increasing vigilance of coronavirus, it has been postponed to 7th of July. I am getting online classes, but personally, I think classroom the teacher, so that's an issue also. If we go on a broader perspective, I think this virus is mostly hitting the poor people and daily wage workers. Also, many health workers are also suffering from this pandemic. Thank you for listening to me. Those were my thoughts on coronavirus. मैं श्री शंकराचार्य महाविद्यालय की प्राचार्य एवं समस्त स्टाफ को धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा जिन्होंने कोविड-19 के विषय पर इस सूचनाजनक वेबिनार का आयोजन किया। अंत में मैं विश्व के कल्याण एवं स्वास्थ्य की रक्षा के लिए भारतीय संस्कृति से एक श्लोक कहना चाहूँगा। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। धन्यवाद।
मैडम गोपीचंद सर भी आ गए ऑनलाइन में, आप प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं। मैडम अनम्यूट करो आप।
There is a start. Namaste. May Almighty God keep us safe and strong. With these words, I welcome one and all in the today's international webinar, exploring new possibilities during COVID-19 crisis, in association with International Federation of Physical Education, Fitness and Sports Science Association, organized by IQAC of Sri Shankaracharya Mahavidyalaya. My sincere gratitude to COVID warriors who are at every nook and corner to aware us to be fit and safe. During this phase, we realized that we have extended family who concerns about the mutual health and well-being of individuals. Individuals are fostering things which enhance their immunity. They are concerned about fitness and health. Now it's commonly accepted that health is more important than other things. If we are healthy, only then we are going to relish the rest of the things. Earlier, we have all read health is wealth as a quotation, but now we have understood its significant meaning. We try to gather views of adults and kids across the globe, which we are exhibiting in the form of video, because people from few countries cannot join us at this time due to difference in time zones. We will be showing few videos at this platform, and rest will be published in social media. I thank Vivek from Dallas, Shivangi from Minneapolis for arranging these videos. I thank Michael from Atlanta, whose family suffered from coronavirus and recovered. He sent his words to motivate us. I thank Ms. Andrew from Washington, Michael from Atlanta, Amit from Sydney, Australia, Keith Duncan from Chicago for their views. Today, through Zoom, we will hear views of eminent speakers. We are delighted to announce a famous personality on whom India can proud. We'll talk about physical literacy, and he is none other than Shri Pulela Gopichan, Padma Bhushan, the Arjun Awardee coach, Indian national badminton team, Professor Syed Ibrahim, King Fahad University, Saudi Arabia, will tell about hypertension. Dr. Mirza Asuma from Shere Bangala Agriculture University, Dhaka, will talk about future of education and research in the post-pandemic era. And Dr. Tapas Mukherjee from Government Naveen College, Bori Durg, Chhattisgarh, he'll talk about COVID-19 pause, gets it go, the resilience of the human spirit. SSMB, that is Sri Shankaracharya Mahavidyalaya, try to impart things which are good for society. This will learn due to enduring affection of our management, our president, our Mitra, and our chairman, Sri Mishra. I thank from core of my heart to Rajesh sir for arranging such a gala event for us. This pandemic showed paths towards family, friends, and society, which is good, and it's prepared us to equip ourselves for every future challenge and also create an eternal bonding among us across globe to accept the challenges and face the crisis. My sincere gratitude to our guest speakers for their views, observers from Chhattisgarh for patient hearing, DSW, Prashant Srivastava sir from Hemchand Vishwavidyalaya, Durg, our Vice Chancellor Aruna Palcha Madam from Hemchand Vishwavidyalaya, Chhattisgarh, our management, media persons and participants, and IQ members for making this webinar successful. Now, I invite Dr. J. Durga Prasad Rao sir for further proceedings.
अनम्यूट करके बात करिए सर. अनम्यूट करो, आप आवाज नहीं आ रही. अनम्यूट करो
सर.
अनम्यूट करके बात करो. बोलो.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, fine, thank you. Let me start the session. First of all, it's my privilege and honor that Shankaracharya Mahavidyalaya and in association with Indian Federation of Physical Education, Fitness, Sports Science and Association has planned an international webinar on the topic exploring new possibilities during COVID-19 crisis. My special thanks to our chairman, Shri I.P. Mishra ji, and Madam, Shri Jaya Mishra Madam, our director and principal, Dr. Raksha Singh. Now, I would like to thanks to Shri Pulela Gopichan ji, who has agreed to be keynote speaker in our this webinar. For allowing permission to Pulela Gopichan ji, let me introduce brief viewpoints of him. This needs no introduction, but I would like to short profile his views. Shri Pulela Gopichan ji is a former Indian badminton player. Presently, he is serving as chief national coach for the Indian national badminton team. He won the All England Open Badminton Championship in 2001. He runs Gopichan Badminton Academy. He has received many bunch of awards. Among these, there are many national and also at the international levels. It includes Arjuna Award in 1999, Dronacharya Award in 2009, Padma Bhushan Award, which is also India's third highest civilian award. He has received Rajiv Gandhi Award in Padma Shri. Apart from this, at the international level, he has also achieved International Olympic Committee Coach Lifetime Achievement Award, which was awarded in recognition of his role that he has played in the development of the game badminton in the country in 2019. Apart from this, he has also produced many badminton players. Some of the highlighted names include Saina Nehwal, PVS Sindhu, Sai Praneeth, Pradipli, Kashyap, Srikanth, Kidan. To highlight that of these, Saina Nehwal has won the bronze medal, whereas PVS Sindhu won the silver medal at the Olympic level. It's my privilege and again honor to welcome you, sir. Thank you very much. Shankaracharya Mahavidyalaya is very thankful that you have agreed to give your invaluable speech to this webinar. Thank you, sir. Now I would request Sri Pulela Gopi Chandji and the authorities to please introduce, to please allow him to speak as a keynote speaker. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Durga Prasad, for the kind words. And first of all, I will think of it as a privilege to be part I think of it as a privilege to be part of this national webinar. Very distinguished guest speakers from different countries being here, and me to be a part of it. Thanks to Rajesh, to Mr. Chandrasekharan, and the entire organizing committee for inviting me here. Why does and talk about physical education is something which I also find myself trying to answer. But truly, my journey in sport in the last few years has been something which is actually moved from being a coach, giving excellence and training people to be the best in the world, to actually realizing that sports has a great value for everybody, and how a physical education teacher can be a great influence for people and for every kid in society. For me, my journey started a few years ago in this field, although I've been coaching for many years. I've played for many years. My coaching into the ecosystem will be realizing the need for sport for everyone came into being literally after a certain incident in 2015. And post that particular incident where I was coaching a young girl to catch a shuttle, and the girl dropped the shuttle, and I started to wonder, what's the point of trying to produce one or two champions when the entire society is devoid of basic fundamental activities on the physical plane, whether it's running, throwing, catching, jumping. I think what's the point if the system is driven in such a way that there are a few champions who produce, but majority of them drop out because they don't think that the sport is for us. That's the kind of thought I had. I kind of went on, starting for searching for answers. And one of the key things which I found in my mind was that the physical education teacher is very, very important. For me, After that day, that incident, and I started to look back at what has happened in my life, and I slowly and surely recognized that I am what I am because of the people who coached me. The coaches who spent time to develop me were very important. But also the real fact was that in school, when I look back, that same experience which I had, which my coaches gave me, my PTs gave me, somehow the others in my class didn't get the same experience. What is the experience which we give our kids, as parents, as teachers, as society, will decide what they will do in the future. If they have good experiences in childhood, they will continue in those things in later life. If they have bad experiences in childhood, they will not do those things. Like I remember how I would go into a maths class or a physics class, and when you ask me a theory or a diagram, I always just take a back seat because I don't want to be seen in that sense from an educational perspective. But you say sport, I say I'm ready. I think that is what is missing. I think the P is an important thing. So for me today, to have this opportunity to chat with you and share my views, I would say we need to look at things different. As teachers, as PE teachers, as people, the first thing we are asked is, if you win medals, you are a good coach. That probably is true at the highest level in terms of excellence, where you go to an Olympics or a World Championships or an international event or a national event and win medals is fine. But actually, do we use the same benchmark for PE teachers? Or is it important these kids will continue to do physical activity for life? I think that is where I would start from, is that maybe we are looking at the problem in a slightly different manner. The success of the physical education teacher need not be the number of medals which he wins, but really, and people would say, Sir, isko Saina ki tarah bana. Yes, probably at the level where they come to take professional sport, maybe that's okay to expect. But I think as kids who come to school, I think are we asking them the wrong things? Because we don't ask our kids who come and physics and maths whether you want to become a Ramanujan or an Einstein. We still what skills they learn. I don't think subjects that
अच्छा अपनी कर
but
okay
physical education definitely very, very important in life. I think it's something which we need to kind of get to. So my thinking is that when we look at a class, the first 5 people, the kid who's going to win the running race, is going to be super excited and motivated to participate again. But what is the experience of the last 5 kids in class? Is it a positive experience or a negative experience? When the kid who comes last running race, what is the value he brings? Whether it's, we say sports build confidence. To the kid who comes last in a running race and who's mocked by others, does he give confidence? Does it motivate him to work further harder? Do the people who stand around him encourage him and build team spirit, or mock him and bring him down? I think a lot of human values is something, even if that may not be medals. Because I believe that sports has a lot to offer. For me, when I look at those, when I look at the entire society, I see two kinds of people. People who have benefited from sport and people who have rejected our sport. And that is the key component. When you have people who are benefited from sport, you see them talk highly about sport. You will see them supporting their kids to play sport. They become principals and they say, my school should support sport. They become parents, they say, my kids should play sport. They become education officers and ministers, they will always.
Sorry, I lost you. Am I audible?
Yes, audible. No
Yes, sir, it is audible, sir.
Yeah. For me, when I look at people, I would look at two kinds of people. People who have benefited from sport and people who have rejected sport. And that is the key component. Because all of us would have been in life, bureaucrats, politicians, school principals, class teachers, you will have either who are supremely supportive of sport or who dismiss sport and sports persons and PETs. And I believe the reason is that they have not benefited from sport and they've been the ones who've been rejected out of class. I think for us, for a new generation, it is supremely important that we ensure that all the kids get a positive experience out of the class. And that way, I think 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when they become parents, they will be active for life. They will be physically motivated to continue activity for life, but also they will ensure that in whatever position they are, they will continue to support sports persons and be. And it's something very, very. So on the whole, I would only say that as teachers, there's a huge role. The benefits of PE are much beyond the medals. It is proven scientifically that physical activity makes kids smarter. So I would really urge all of us to take the subject a lot stronger, because we've been, as Margaret Whitehead, who coined the word physical literacy, says, we've been extras for too long. And that's something which is important. because if there is any subject which is important, it is physical education. And I think it's time to regain that spot, because for us, so people ask me this question: what is physical literacy and what is physical education? Are we trying to replace that word? No. Physical literacy is a lifelong reason for us to be active. That's important. Physical literacy is something which is a lifelong journey of physical activity. And physical education and physical education teachers are key people in this journey. I think they are the people who sow the seeds for the future. So unfortunately, a lot of things are looked at very differently in the sporting side. And I bring my experiences of childhood, wherein my first coach, who was Hamid Hussain sir, never taught me how to play the sport in a true sense. But the first and fundamental thing he taught me, sport. I think that is very, very important. If we love what we do, then we'll do it for very long. I think that is important from a PE teacher's perspective. That is important from a community coach perspective. That is important for all of us to understand, because that's the only way people are going to continue doing what they're doing. So this is something which is very, very important. So as community coaches, we have this aspiration and thinking that I want to become an Indian coach, or I want to become a chief coach. But the reality is that unlike the education system, and this is something which we are hoping to change in the years to come, that players should be looked at from coaches to hand them over to the next level. Whether we have coaches at grassroots level, intermediate level, and elite level, at least 3 or 4 times a player should be getting moved up the radar. And it's not that the grassroots level coach is less than anybody, but I think is the most important component in that bucket. But like education system, which transfers players from one level to the other, from primary to middle school to high school to senior college and degree college and doctorate. I think in a similar sense, sport also have to evolve to ensure that community coaches or grassroots level coaches are respected, and also there is a template where they can actually move them to the next level. And I think that would be something which is very, very. With these words, I would say thank you very much. It's really been a pleasure, and then here I would do thank and entire college for inviting me here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pulela Gopichand sir. So kind of you, and your words have been very nice and will motivate us to fight with COVID-19 crisis. At the same time, it will also enhance our ability to improve ourselves at our own levels. Thank you, sir. Your words have been very good, and we would love to connect you in future also. Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words.
Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite DSW of Hemchand Yadav University, Dr. Prashant Srivastava, sir, who is my academic elder brother also. Before introducing him, I would like to give a brief introduction of this great personality. Currently, he is Dean Student Welfare, Hemchand Yadav University, CG. He has passed his MSc Geology in first position, merit from Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University. Also, he has secured merit position in MPhil Zoology. He has secured his PhD in 1999. Apart from that, he has also received Best Teacher Award and also received DST Young Scientist Award in 1995. He has visited more than 13 countries, giving his guest lectures and in collaboration with other academic activities. Also, he has received UGC Postdoctorate Research Award in 2009. He is visiting professor in DST New Delhi. Currently, he is expert member of various organizations like UPSC, NPSC, Central Pollution Control Board, Indian Railways, and also member of Editorial International Research Journal. He has also completed 2 major and 3 minor research projects. So, sir, it's my privilege.
Thank you, Durga Prasad ji. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. So first of all, I congratulate and thankful to organizing committee of Sri Shankaracharya Mahavidyalaya for providing us to listen an opportunity to wonderful talk by Pulela Gopichandji. I was in the impression that he is an excellent badminton player only, but he is a very good orator also. So I congratulate to Shankaracharya Mahavidyalaya Management Committee, Madam Raksha Singh, Dr. Durga Prasad Rao, and respected IP Mishra sir and Madam Jaya Mishra also for providing us a wonderful opportunity. So what Pulela Gopichand sir has told, that we have to love towards our profession. Whatever our profession is, we have to love our profession. The main motto or the underlying remarks given by him. And he also expressed about the new possibilities, how to explore during the COVID-19 in a very nice manner. He has given the examples of the local coaches, then the state level coaches and all that. And as far as we are belonging to the educational community, so it's our duty also that we have to respect each and every person, either he is in a small capacity or he is a vice chancellor or he is a director or a principal or all that. We have to behave same with everyone. And as all of us know that the Shankaracharya College is always organizing such kind of very good programs. I was in a touch with last 10 to 15 years, and every year I saw there is a great change and there is an improvement in the quality of the programs. Today also they have reached up to the Gopichan, and I think in the next year they will invite some Olympians and all that. So it's a great, remarkable target they are achieving, and every year there is a feather in their cap. So congratulations to their hard work and the motivation also. As far as COVID-19 crisis and the possibilities are concerned, we all know that the coronavirus pandemic has a lot of dark sides. Everything has a two sides, that is the brighter side and the dark side. Around the world, people get ill and die. Schools and colleges are closed. Then the healthcare system is overloaded. Then employees lose their jobs. Companies are facing bankruptcy and the stock market collapse. And the countries have to spend billions on bailouts and the medical aids. Similarly, and for everyone, whether directly hurt or not, COVID-19 is a huge stressor shaking upon psyche. Everybody is talking on COVID-19 on these days, and COVID-19 is triggering our fears and uncertainties also. We have to see, but it is our duty to see the brighter side of everything, because when we think about the darker side, then we will go to the depression. So we have to think about the brighter side of the COVID. And as all of us know that you can see the SWOT analysis. That is the SWOT analysis means the strength, weakness, threats, and the challenges. So if we consider COVID as a threat, so there are the challenges and the opportunities also. So each and every education institution, they have to face this COVID-19, and it is our duty to change challenges or the threats into the opportunities. So as far as COVID-19 is concerned, it is our duty to convert these challenges into the opportunities. And as we see that I will discuss about the general opportunities which each and every person can avail these opportunities. The main thing is that we have to do and we have to attempt and we have to try. we don't throw all the things on COVID-19. So some few important things are, first point is we have a more time as the schools and colleges are closed and the activities are not going on in that manner they were in the previous time. So we have a lot of time. So time is most valuable, and as first thing we have during this COVID-19 period, we can spare time for creating new things. And Shankaracharya College is one of the example of that. During this COVID period and the lockdown period, they have utilized their time in a very right direction for the preparation of NAC, for the visit of NAC. They have distributed the masks to the needy people, and with the help of NSS, they have organized so many programs with keeping social distance and all that. So we have a more time, much time, and it is our duty to utilize that time in a right manner. Similarly, the other point is reflect and reconsider. COVID-19 disrupts our day-to-day. We all are disturbed, our life, and provides an opportunity to reflect on things and to reconsider. Sometimes due to the psychological pressure, we behave abnormally. And due to stress, sometimes behavior is not accepted by the society. So we can rethink on that, we can reconsider on that, and we can think that what we have to do, how we can do, and why we can do. So these are the opportunities for us during the COVID-19 time. Similarly, as the next point, if we try to consider, that is the speed and the innovation. Many of the organizations, they are facing the slow process of the bureaucracy or the policy of the government side or the other side or the people side. You can see it is the right time. Then we can speed our each and every activity because we have ample of time. So we can use this opportunity. Similarly, the better meetings. During the time of our work culture, we don't get time to meet our relatives, to meet our friends, to give time to our family and all that, because these things are very important as far as the development of the society is concerned. The exchange of thoughts and the social gathering, it is a very, very important factor. So better meetings in the current crisis has forced us to rethink how we deal the meetings. Similarly, reconnect and help. Sometimes we are not connected with the people since 5 to 6 years or more than 10 years also. So it is the right time that we can reconnect. The challenging time offered a great opportunity for social bonding and other ways to connecting as well as the helping people. We saw as far as the moving labor problem was concerned, many of the agencies, many of the organizations, many of the persons, they have helped them a lot to minimize their problems and their food problems and their work problems, their transportation problems. Many of the organizations have helped beyond the way. So this is the time for reconnect and help also. Similarly, it's very good that the Himalayan mountains are clearly visible from Jalandhar. Then you also see that the Ganges is very clearly visible in Haridwar and Allahabad and Varanasi also. Even our Shivnath and Karun, these rivers are also seen very clear. The water of the rivers are seen very clear. So it's a very good sign. And even the environment of our capital, national capital, Delhi, it is also clearly visible, and the people who are residing in Delhi, they are feeling very happy nowadays. So it's a very good sign as far as the environment is concerned, our health is concerned. Similarly, you can see the modesty and the acceptance. As far as modesty and acceptance is concerned, the opportunity that the COVID-19 crisis offers is a chance to create awareness for the moderate role we play on this planet. So the COVID-19 period, we can explore many opportunities in different fields also. It is up to us what opportunities we can grab and what things we do. If we don't want to do any help activities during the COVID-19 period, then nothing can be done by any person, even by the God also. So it is up to us. to explore what are the opportunities, what are the possibilities that we can grab, and after the possibilities and the opportunities, we can help the other people, for the society, for our family, as well as for our nation also. You see, in comparison to other countries, our India did very well. Our government, the central government as well as the state government, they have made arrangements to minimize the impact of the COVID-19, and they are successful in that manner. Very, very advanced countries like USA, like France, Italy, Japan, and Germany, and also in comparison to those countries, our India did very well during the COVID-19 period. So it depends upon the participation of the public for the government orders as well as the welfare of the society. So at the end, I congratulate Shankaracharya College Management, their principal, Dr. Raksha Singh, additional director, Dr. Durga Prasad Rao, IP Mishra sir, Madam Jaya Mishra, for organizing such a wonderful webinar on a wonderful topic. And particularly, they have invited Fulera Gopichand sir also, which he never visited our area. So credit goes to all Shankaracharya family. And our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Aruna Palta, will also join this webinar. So once again, with best wishes to all of you and for the successful seminar, I end my words. Thank you so much.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for your very nice words.
Sir, your voice is not clear, sir. Durga, sir, your voice is clear.
Am I audible, madam?
A little bit more, sir.
Now?
Yes, sir. It's audible.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you very much, Prashant Srivastava, sir. The way you have connected the SWOT analysis with the current scenario is really appreciable and also motivating to us. And the keyword you told about reconnect and help each other was also very inspiring. Now, it's my again privilege and honor to invite Vice Chancellor Hemchand Yadav, Durg University, Dr. Aruna Palta, Madam. Again, our college and many other colleges come under the purview of Hemchand Yadav Durg University. And as far as before inviting Palta Madam to join this session for her invaluable views, I would like to give a brief introduction about her. Well, her strength is her determination, dedication, and preservation of to achieve the desired objectives. Being born and brought up at Chhattisgarh and served in the Department of Higher Education for more than 38 years, she knows all the finer points of higher education of this state. Being the head of newly established state public university, that is Hemchand Yadav Durg University, she believes in decentralization and delegation of work according to individual caliber and capacities. Work is worship for her, and responsibility means a commitment to ensure and give her best. She strives for excellence in her own eyes without compromising on her front. She is a member of many academic bodies, including some of the lifetime membership. Authored 17 books and have publications more than 568 articles. Apart from being the coordinator of IGNOU, she has also won many 18 national and international awards from President of, including from President of India for her academic achievement. She was gold medalist in BSc and MSc Home Science during her tenure as a student. She has also won Sangarshil Award and many more to count for. She has done many research projects, including 8 at the major projects. She has produced 25 research scholars and also evaluated more than 25 theses of scholars. She is also visiting professor and academic consultant of many big organizations. Aruna Palta Madam, it's again my privilege and honor to welcome you on this international webinar of Sri Shankaracharya Mahavidyalaya in association with International Federation of Physical Education, Fitness and Sports Science Association. And the topic and the theme is exploring new possibilities during COVID-19 crisis. Madam, from the core of my heart, I am welcoming you. Thank you. Thank you very much, madam.
I hope I am audible to everybody.
Yes, madam, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
A very good afternoon to one and all present in this webinar. And as already stated, that it is one of the very good selection of topic by this college, exploring new possibilities during COVID-19 crisis. Yes, I would like to start with a very positive quote of Helen Keller, who said that keep your face to the sunshine and you will not be able to see a shadow. So that depends upon a person, that if you want to take anything positively, you have to behave in that manner only. And I was very much like influenced by the saying of Jimmy Dean, who said that I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can definitely adjust my sails to always reach to my destination. So all these quotes, they definitely tell you that things are not always according to you in life. You have to change you have to face a number of challenges, and one of those challenges now the entire globe is facing, that is of pandemic COVID-19. I want to take you back to the past history, because the world has faced such pandemics in past also. You can remember very well the Black Death period of Europe in mid 14th century, when more than like say uh, 100 million peoples, they died due to the pandemic of plague. Later on, there was a pandemic of influenza in 1918 and 19, when most of the population of US was affected by it. And again, there was the death toll was very high. Around 100 million people died at that time. Not going back so far, we can also remember the pandemic of SARS in 2002. And I want to tell you that at that time, the technology was not that developed. The microbiologists, they could not even decode the genome of that virus. They took more than 1 year to decode the genome of that virus. And then they started the treatment for that pandemic. You just imagine the situation in today's scenario. Like the scientists were able to decode the genome of coronavirus within a period of 1 month. So you can explore a number of possibilities in technology nowadays, and that's why we were able to know what was the disease, what was the virus, what precautions have to be taken to prevent ourselves from those viruses. So definitely this can tell us that the technology which has been developed in the years recently, they are definitely helping us a long way to face such challenges. And I was myself amazed when I saw more than 1,500 videos uploaded in the university of my website during this lockdown period. And before that, there was not even a single video of any teaching in my university website. This itself indicates that there were a number of possibilities, there were a number of opportunities for people to learn how to carry on online teaching, students how to carry on, how to follow those lectures of online teaching. What is an e-content? How to upload an e-content? How to study from an e-content? So there were number of challenges, but people can definitely change the direction of those challenges. They can definitely convert them into opportunities in order to get benefit from them. As already stated by the DSW of university, that this pandemic has definitely given us ample of time. It is now up to us how to reuse or how to use it in the right direction. For myself, I can tell you as an example that I never had enough time
to look into my kitchen garden, to look into my own garden properly, and not even being a nutritionist also. I never had enough time to enter my kitchen and to do the right cooking part for my family. But during this COVID, I want to tell you, I enjoyed my cooking so much. And because I was continuously giving lectures on immunity boosting foods, so I used to prepare all those foods in my kitchen. And really, I want to tell you that I learned a lot of good nutritious recipe during this period. And I really appreciate myself for this thing. I have grown number of green leafy vegetables in my garden, and still I'm enjoying those vegetables because I got ample time. So this was just example to tell you that instead of wasting your time, you could have explored to different things which you can enter into to use your time properly. All your hobbies, people generally, the ladies who are serving, they generally complain of lack of time for their family. They always complain that they don't have enough time to fulfill their hobbies. So this was the right time when they could have started singing, they could have started reading good books, they could have started stitching, they could have started dancing, whatever is their hobby, they could have gone for those hobbies. And definitely a good bonding between the family could have been observed in this period. And definitely friends and relatives to whom we cannot connect due to always as usual due to shortage of time, this bonding could have maintained well during this time. So as far as I was talking about the technology part, so I was amazed to know, and I was always seeing in TV, television, and reading in newspapers that a number of countries, robots have taken the place of human beings, of manpower. And robots were working in the hospitals, serving the corona patients, serving them food, serving them with medicines, sanitizing their wards, and even the drone cameras, they were working for the police department to disperse the crowd, to make all the announcements. Mics were fitted with drone cameras and they were used. So this is the development of the technology which came all about within a period of very short period of 2 to 3 months. Because as we say na कि आवश्यकता ही आविष्कार की जननी होती है. So uh, in the time of needs, people have gone worked so much in the field of technology, and they have explored the technology in such a good manner that all the requirements could be done through technology in a very efficient manner. I went through a newspaper where it was written that China nowadays in their airlines, instead of air hostess and or human beings, is part of the plane, of the aeroplane. So this is something new to note, that robots are serving food in aircrafts, and this could be a thought which came during this COVID period only. So nobody can say that challenges are always bad. Challenges sometimes are very good to take you to some good direction. People, at least they have started thinking now that materialistic things are not very important in the world now. Previously, people used to give them the top priority in their life. I should have a good car. I should have got a good bungalow. I should have got ample clothes. I should have ample jewelry. But now people, they have come above all these things, and they now they have come to understand that a good health and a good relationship and mental peace and happiness is more important than all these physical things. So I would just like to end with a positive note that one has to stay positive and optimistic during these periods of challenges, and should always try to explore the possibilities of opportunities from these challenges. And once you start believing that you can do a thing, you are halfway there only. So with this positive note, I would like to end and congratulating the college for such a nice and wonderful webinar and for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, madam, for your nice words, especially in some points.
Sir, we can't hear you, sir.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, sir.
No, madam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Was motivate us to go for new things, to go for new challenges, and we hope in future also, under your guidance, we would like to improve ourselves. Thank you very much, madam, from Shankaracharya Mahavidyalaya. Now, I would like Professor Rajesh sir to take the podium under his belt and invite Professor Syed Ibrahim for next lecture. Thank you. Thank you very much, Rajesh sir. Please.
Now we are having the two moderators, that is Professor Chandrasekharan and Dr. Ghanshyam Dokre. We will evaluate. I request Dr. Ghanshyam Dokre to welcome our next speaker, Professor Syed Ibrahim. Then Professor Chandrasekharan sir will talk after the Syed Ibrahim sir. Okay, please take.
Thank you,
Hello,
Professor.
Welcome, sir.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Please start it. You start,
yes,
sir.
sir. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Hello. Good afternoon, all of you, and welcome all in today's international webinar. Firstly, I express my sincere thanks to Principal Dr. Rajesh Kumar, Osmania University, and also Dr. Raksha Singh, Director and Principal of. Thank you, sir.
Respected the Vice Chancellor who has just now spoken about it, the authorities of the SS Mahavidyalaya, the Principal Raksha Singh, Dr. J. Durga Prasad Rao, Professor Rajesh Kumar, my colleague, moderators, Dr. Dakota and Dr. Chandrasekharan. At the outset, of course, the webinar is basically devoted to COVID-19, the novel coronavirus, the pandemic. But still, a part of it, my presentation will be dealing just a little away, but it is concerned with the COVID-19. So basically, it is said, and regarding COVID-19, everything has been very clearly explained by the earlier speakers who have very clearly pointed out the pros and cons, things which are being dealt with right now. One thing is very sure, coronavirus is here to stay. Don't know the pandemic when it will get eradicated. We never know about it. But still, we need to put up with that. And as said by earlier speakers that we have a lot of time, of course, we need to pose it in the right way as said earlier. It is said by one of the medical experts that coronavirus, that is, it will be afflicted to each one of us. Nobody can be spared. But the question is, to whom it gets afflicted? The fact is, if your immune system is very, very strong and high, you will never know that the coronavirus has come to you and gone. You never know about it. But if your immune system is down, very weak, absolutely that will overpower you and you will be one of the afflicted person of this COVID-19. So that is the watchword. Increase or make your immune system very strong. And how you can make it? As I have been advocating, and even each one of us, even Pulela Gopichand, he has very clearly indicated that fitness exercise. Exercise is the medicine. It is important that we need to keep ourselves fit. So the fitness keeps everything away, keeps your immune system highly powerful and strong so that you can fight. So that is what we need to do it as physical educationists. We were very active in our, earlier life, but later on when we become coaches, as I've said earlier, we tend to cut down our activity. We should be a role model, as we said, role model for all, under us. So being a role model, as Dr. Chandrasekhan in the earlier webinar presented about the topic yoga, is an exercise which you need to keep yourself fit and increase your immune system. So that is the reason. The first part I just want to highlight on that is to keep ourselves fit and see that our time, which is available right now, should spend in the right way so that we are healthy, safe, following the dictums as been told by each one regarding the safety measures to be taken with the COVID-19. Okay, gentlemen. Coming back, as I have said, exercise is a very important part and a medicine for each and every aspect of our life. So I'm dealing with exercise and hypertension. Are you able to see the slide, please?
Yes, sir. We are able to see a slide.
Okay. So this is, you can see various aspects of hypertension. We need to stop hypertension. What is hypertension? And other things I'll be able to tell you. So look at this figure. There are different figures stating different statements. The first one says, I have hypertension. The second says, my doctor thought that blood pressure of 150 by 95 was pretty good. The other says, my doctor thought I was okay because I was asymptomatic. That is, I don't have any type of symptoms. The doctor would not treat me because I was an assigned patient. My doctors gave me the latest medication recommended by a drug shop. My doctor maintained hypertension in the elderly to prevent orthostatic hypertension. The doctor thought that hypertension is a part of aging because of stiff arteries. So these are the different statements different people from the society have indicated with regard to hypertension. Now, hypertension basically revolves with the circulatory system where our body sends food, material, and energy to all the systems of our body, working systems of our body. So blood is the medium which carries the nutrient as well as the gas, because the calories which we are taking is ultimately converted into glucose, glycogen is stored. And this glucose is sent by the liver, stored in liver and sent through the blood wherever it is necessary. And in the presence of oxygen, the combustion is taking place and energy is released. So now, system, there is a blood is the media, and the blood travels in vessels. And mind you, circulatory system is a closed circuit, which is a closed system. Blood cannot come out from the pipes, blood vessels. It cannot come out. It flows inside. So the definition here regarding, I will just tell about the blood and the pressure. So arterial blood pressure. We all know, we have studied anatomy and physiology. Everybody, each one of us as physical educationists, we are not medical students, but we have basic knowledge about anatomy and physiology. So the arteries which carry the pure blood from the heart and supply to all parts of the body, they are the arteries. And arterial blood pressure can be defined as the lateral pressure exerted by the moving column of blood on the walls of the arteries. You know, when something comes out, there is a pressure exerted, and this pressure is the one which is acting on the blood vessel, because the blood vessels, the arteries, they have elasticity. When the blood is pumped out from the heart, the arteries expand into the elasticity, and this is the pressure. It comes out with pressure. So in the arteries, we find little pressure, which is called as the arterial blood pressure, as the blood is moving in. Now, what is the significance of this flow? To ensure the blood flow to various organs, because any organ or anything which is there, tissue or cell, whatever you can call it, doesn't receive blood, it is as good as dead, because it needs energy. And so the blood flow should be ensured from arteries to arterioles and to capillaries, and then back from capillaries to venules and veins and back to the heart. So it plays an important role in exchange of nutrients and gases across the capillaries. As I said, from artery, arterioles and capillaries. Capillaries are the finer blood vessels, which are the one where the combustion take place and the exchange of the nutrients and the gas take place. And it is required to form urine, because ultimately the blood, after it is utilized by all the organs, it is brought to the arterioles, venules, veins, back to the heart, and from the heart, the part which is going to the lungs, it carries carbon dioxide, and then it is refreshed with oxygen there in the lungs, the gas part, and the liquid part, it is at the kidneys that it is filtered. So the urea and uric acid, which is there in the blood, is filtered to the kidneys, and it is removed and required for the formation of lymph. You know, the parallel system of the circulation is lymph, because as I've told, the blood flows in this closed circuit, and anything, if the blood vessel is hemorrhaged, the blood comes out, it cannot go back into the blood vessel. It has to be given through a drainage system, and drainage system is the lymph. So the lymph takes all the drained things and then gives back into circulation. So it is required for the formation of the lymph. Now, what is the systolic? There are, as I've told you, two kinds of pressure. When the heart, because the heart has 4 chambers, the upper 2 and the lower 2. And when the heart pumps from the lower, the ventricles, it pumps out on one side into the aorta and other side into the pulmonary vein to take back to the lungs. So when this is done, it is called this systolic. So defined as the maximum blood pressure in the arteries attainable during systole. Systole is nothing, it is the blood pumped out into the aorta on the ventricles, lower part of the heart. And the normal is 120 plus or minus 20 mmHg of mercury. And this is mainly contributed how? By the force of heartbeat, normal blood volume. Actually, it is said that every individual has got 5 to 5.5 liters of blood in the body. So the contribution of this blood pressure in arteries, that is the systolic, depends on the force of the heartbeat, how the force is being conveyed, plus the normal volume of the heart. Blood. And the cardiac output, as is said, it is the stroke volume into the number of beats. In each beat, how much of volume the blood is coming into the beat of the hearts in a minute. So that is called as the cardiac output. And the cardiac output, the normal range, yes please, is between 90 and 140 mmHg. So this is the systolic blood pressure. Now we go to the diastolic blood pressure. Defined as the minimum pressure that is obtained at the end of the ventricular diastole. Normal range is between 60 and 90 mm. As I've told you, after the ventricles, they have contracted and released the blood, the pure blood into aorta, it goes on relaxing, or the pressure is down, because when it is pumping, the pressure is very high. So when it comes back, it is the relaxation phase, and this is called as the diastolic pressure. It should be minimum 60 to 90 mmHg, the range. It represents the constant load on the arterial walls with little or no fluctuation at all. Plus, it is an index to the peripheral resistance and decide the filling of the coronary system. So as the heart has contracted and released the systole, the relaxation phase, it is an index, it is indication, the peripheral resistance, peripheral means the outside resistance, and also decide how much blood should be filled in. That is what we call it as the diastolic pressure. Now, what the physiological variation in the blood pressure, the systolic and diastolic? What is the variation? Age, build, climate, high urinal variation, the day and night, exercise, fever, patient, high altitude, infusion, pain, posture, sleep, and sex, that is the male or female. So these are the variation on the blood pressure. Or the factors that contribute to the blood pressure. As I've told you, cardiac output, slow volume into heart rate, SV into HR. How much blood? It is around, in a minute, 5 to 5.5 liters. Now, there's a peripheral resistance also, peripheral outside resistance on these blood vessels. Now, DP, we call it as the double product. It is the systolic blood pressure into pulse rate. What is double product? It is the same, that is the systolic blood pressure plus pulse rate, and depends on various aspects. That is the radius of the blood vessel. How much is the radius? The elasticity, because as you're aging, all your blood vessels start losing the elasticity. There's a reason people who are basically have a job of standing, you can find that their legs, standing, their legs, they have varicose veins. The blood vessels, the veins, they have expanded. And the blood coagulates there, it doesn't get up to the level of the heart. So elasticity of the blood vessel, extravascular compression, that is, know your weight. The best thing is to have BMI, the body mass index, weight in kgs divided by height meter square. The range is 18.5 to 24.9. So there you're normal. Apart from that, if you're increasing, you will have overweight, obesity. Obesity is a great problem. So weight is a great problem. The diet, of course, as I have very clearly indicated earlier, a man is what he eats. Whatever you eat, it shows on you. So that is very important. We know about the diet. Nutritionist, Madam was talking, the Vice Chancellor was talking about, because she's a nutritionist, talking about the balanced diet, what the constitution of a balanced diet, which will keep you very, very healthy. Hormones, in our body, there are two types of organs. One are the exocrine and the endocrine. Exocrine glands, they release their hormones through a pipe into some other organ, but endocrine glands, they directly release into the blood. So the hormones released by the endocrine glands, they also have effect on the blood pressure. The salt. Sorry. Salt is this, our common salt, sodium chloride. Of course, the taste of time we try to take salt from people, but it should be taken normally, salt. Excess of salt leads to blood pressure. Sodium chloride is very important ions for the muscular contraction. It plays very important role. The change of ions during the action potential. So need to confine taking less salt. Then caffeine. Many people have the habit of taking more coffee. And of course, coffee contains caffeine, which is absolutely not important. Then environmental factors. Outside. What is the temperature outside? Maybe 50 degrees or maybe minus 50, plus 50, whatever it is. Psychological factors, stress and anxiety. So this is a very, very important psychological variable which afflicts a person. When you're stressed, you're more anxious, like a student going for an examination. Before he starts the examination, he's very, very anxious. His blood pressure goes up. Heart rate goes up, everything, because he is not confident enough. If you're not confident, you become anxious. And anxiety leads to stress. And stress is a killer. So this is an important aspect which is very, very, has to be controlled. How it can be, you should be confident. How you can be confident if you're well prepared for whatever you're dealing with. And to deal with COVID-19, we have to be very confident. We should not be anxious, because anxiety leads to blood pressure and later the stress of the COVID-19, because we are under constant fear. Because fear is one which leads to anxiety and stress. And it is said in the acupressure and acupuncture that stress and anxiety or fear spoils the kidney. The energy of the kidney is diminished because of fear. And as you know, if kidneys are not functioning, what will happen? So gravity, that is this gravity acting on the human body, which is very important, because people who are very young and active and whose muscles are well built, they can stand, because man is biped, is not four-legged. So biped, there is a gravitational pull of 32 meters per square. It is pulling, our body is being pulled. But if your the erector spinae muscle of your back, you're very strong, if you're young and strong, it will counteract that gravitational force and you're straight. That's the reason why people who are old, you see them bending.
Hello.
Their erector spinae muscles are not. There's an interruption, I suppose. Okay, so gravity is an important aspect for blood pressure. And drugs, of course, when you are diseased, you need to take certain drugs. Then it will be acting on the blood pressure. Alcohol, many people, they are addicted to some kind of drink, which is alcohol, which loses the sense of a person, the system working, the sensory and the motor nerves, they start afflicted with alcohol. Then time of the day, what time of the day is the blood pressure is affected. Now, it is said that hypertension is a part of normal aging process. It's a myth, speculation. Hypertension is a part of normal aging process. Yes, of course, there is some truth in it, but it is not correct, it says. Because people who are very healthy, even throughout 90 years, 100 years, they don't have any hypertension, no blood. But the fact is, 2/3 of the patients with hypertension are over the age of 65 years. Normotensive patients age 55 have a 90% lifetime risk of developing hypertension. Of course, it's a myth, but the facts are also different. Now, what are the goals we have right now is, what is hypertension? How we define it? What is it? Why do we want to do what we do? Of course, one of the president of the US was telling, hypertension is a weapon of mass destruction, and we need to take preemptive strike against the terrorist. He has equated it to as terrorist. And that, he says, it is a weapon of mass destruction. We need to take care of it. So hypertension affects 50 million people in the States and also 1 billion people in the globe. So coming to the definition of hypertension, it is defined as an elevated or elevation of the systolic blood pressure above 140 mmHg. Persistent hypertension, very common. So you can see that the systolic pressure, when it is going beyond the normal is 120 by 120, actually the systolic. But if it is increasing, the pressure increasing, then it is called as a hypertension. And of course, it says that the medical terminology says that persistent hypertension is very common. 30% of people over the age of 50 are hypertensive. Age 40 years, I said, is a veteran stage, and everything starts coming after 40 years. All the hypokinetic diseases come and shake hand with you. They say, we are your first fight because we stay in your body, and hypertension is one of them. Never diagnosed on one reading. You cannot say on one reading that you're not hypertensive. Indication of cardiovascular disease. So if there is a hypertension, high blood pressure, the systolic pressure going above the normal, it is an indication that you have the cardiovascular. Cardio is the heart, vascular the vessel. The disease of your heart and vessels. And it may be trauma. Trauma is some kind of stress put on you. And side effects of medication, the steroids, the medicines, what you take, the drugs. Because every drug in this, medication in medical terminology, allopathy has got certain side effects. It may cure one thing, but it may lead to some other complication. Now, hypertension is above 140 mm systolic and 90 mm Hg diastolic. So this is actually subclassified as primary, or which is called as the essential hypertension, and secondary. What is primary or essential hypertension? It's elevated blood pressure, unknown cause. The blood pressure which is going up has no cause at all. You don't know about the cause. And it is in 90 to 95% of cases. Only 5 to 10% of cases are for the secondary. Now, what are the primary causes? Of course, it is unknown, but there are still certain symptoms and certain indications. Like the contributing factors are systemic nervous system activity, then diabetes mellitus, sodium intake, as you saw, salt, excessive alcohol intake. So this is the cause or the contributing factors for the primary or essential hypertension. Now for the secondary, where the elevated blood pressure with specific causes. Here there are no specific causes, but this is essential. And what are they? The drugs, the medicine or the medication we have taken for certain kind of diseases. Sleep, apnea, that is disorders of sleep, chronic renal failure, the kidneys. As I've told you, kidney is the filter. The blood is filtered in the kidneys. It is a filter. It is a water filter. It takes off the urine and urea from our and all other impurities, takes it out from the urine, and pure blood is sent back again in circulation. Then primary aldosteronism. It is a hormonal disorder leading to high blood pressure. As I've told you, hormone is nothing. It is the release of the endocrine gland. Then Cushing syndrome is a stress hormone. High level of stress hormone from the adrenal glands, which is located in the above the kidney, which releases cortisol. And then we have pheochromocytoma, that is a tumor on the adrenal gland, the same kidney. There is a tumor or developed on this adrenal gland. Then we have coarctation of aorta. Coarctation of aorta is the narrowing of the blood vessel, the arteries, the narrowing. The normal size is reduced. And then we have what we call it as the thyroid and parathyroid hormones. Thyroid located at in front of your throat, thyroid and parathyroid diseases. That is, they are the endocrine glands releasing certain hormones. So the disease of that also is one of the cause for the secondary hypertension. Now, what are the risk factors for the first one? The primary, the essential. Family history, as I've told you, if you have something in your system, in yourself, in your chromosomes, they are passed on to your children. One of them, you inherit it. The second is obesity. I was talking about the weight. Weight in kgs divided by the height meter square, you get the body mass index. Normal 18.5 to 24.9, 25 to 29.9, overweight, above 30 is obesity. And 40 and above is morbid obese, highly obese. So your obesity also is one of the risk factors for the primary hypertension. Then ethnicity. Some people from different ethnic, cultures and from different places geographically, they also have it is also one of the factors for the primary hypertension. Sedentary lifestyle. Sedentary means without any work, without any activity, which is against our profession. We need to deal with this particular sect of the society which are sedentary in nature to make them active and also fit and healthy. So the sedentary lifestyle also leads to primary hypertension. Then socio-economic status. People who are living under poor conditions, their economic status not standard, very poor. So this is one of the factors. And then stress. Stress is the gift of this millennium. Of course, stress is there because we are always under stress. We have no time. We say this, and then we don't take off our breakfast also in time. We gulp it and then go off. When you eat food, you need to give time to your food. You should enjoy your food. Then only it will have a beneficial effect on your body. So stress is one of the factors for the primary hypertension. Now, what are the causes for the secondary hypertension? Is renal, the acute and chronic glomerulonephritis. That is the what we call is the it is also the inflammation of the tiny fibers in the kidney. And the nephratic syndrome is the damage of the blood vessels of the kidneys. So the kidney is one of the aspects where we have renal inefficiency. So this leads to secondary hypertension. The endocrines, as I've told you, the glands which give their enzyme directly into the blood. We have Cushing, Conn's, Thyrotoxicus. These are the indications for the endocrine glands. They are all what we call it as the overproduction of hormones, underproduction, lessening. All these factors lead to the renal or the endocrine dysfunctioning. Then we have vascular, the vessels, blood vessels. Because I have told you, blood vessels, we have two types, the arteries and the veins. Arteries, arterioles, capillaries, venules, veins. So these arteries and the veins, they have atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is nothing. It is hardening and narrowing of the arteries. The arteries which are normal are the size of normality and they are elastic. Whenever the pressure comes in, they open up and then they close down. Elasticity means you expand it and leave it, it comes back to the normal. And then arteriosclerosis. This is nothing. It is thickening and losing of the elasticity of the blood vessel or the arteries. So this is the causes of the secondary hypertension. Now, we have blood pressure, we see. How you know that? The question is, how do you know that? Normally we cannot, but there are symptoms. But without symptoms, do you want to know your blood pressure? Then we need to have certain modality, certain equipment to measure it. Of course, it is the measurement of blood pressure through various modalities, through various equipment. How blood pressure is measured? Sit and relax for at least 5 minutes, because suppose you're coming from somewhere, always your blood pressure is high, because the activity always leads to high, increase of your heart rate, and the blood is going at a very high rate and pressure. So you need to relax at least 5 minutes. If you have come from somewhere, sit down. Arm paired and at heart level. The arm which is to be covered with the band, it should be paired. That is, you should have to remove your shirt or whatever it is, and it should be at the heart level. The bladder within the cuff, at least 80% of arm circumference. So the cuff which is there, it should be covered at least 80% of your upper arm, the bicep muscle and the tricep. And the average of 2 readings, plus or minus, with 2 minutes apart should be taken. So this is how the blood pressure has to be measured. Now, the recording of blood pressure, how the blood pressure is to be recorded. There are 2 methods. One is a direct method, other is an indirect method. Indirect method is palpatory method, and auscultatory method. So these are the 2 methods through which you can measure. You can see here the figure. Of course, this is a system of measuring the heart rate, which is maybe people call outdated, because nowadays we have developed, various other equipment which you can see it here now. Measurement devices, manometers are there. We have automated devices right now, which we need not to worry about, like all others, which we are doing earlier, because they said it is outdated, because you need to spend time for that, and you should be aware. You train to use the swag nanometer. So these are the equipment, but right now we use the automated device, which is very clearly indicating precise, because precision is more over here. Of course, even we cannot deny that, because an equipment which is used by the doctors right now also in many places. So here, the principle, this thing, what you need to do is, as I've already told you, you have to see that this cuff is covering the 80% of your upper arm, and then we need to take the stethoscope, because stethoscope is important to know the sounds of the heart. How do you record it otherwise? So stethoscope, 2 things are very essential. The equipment is manometer and the stethoscope. Now, how this method is to be practiced, administered. This was instituted by a Russian physician, Korkotov. And here the systolic and the diastolic blood pressure is measured. Now, just when you tie on your arm, you need to increase the pressure with the pump. Let it go above 120 mmHg. Keep your stethoscope at the radial artery here near your elbow, and then increase the pressure and slowly start decreasing. And at 120 mmHg, you hear the sound, tapping sound. And as you go on decreasing, there is a murmurish sound, there is a banging sound, there is a muffing sound. And when it comes to the diastolic pressure, whatever may be your pressure, there will not be any sound. So these 2, the systolic, when you start hearing the sound, and the diastolic, when the sound is completely, there is no sound at all. So this is how the blood pressure is measured. Now, the moral of the story: treat hypertension aggressively. So this is the moral of the story. You need to treat the hypertension with aggressively, that is, with effort, with motivation, with interest. Now, hypertension, predisposing factors. We have already discussed about it: obesity, heredity, alcoholism, stress, smoking, sedentary life. We didn't talk about smoking. Smoking is injurious to your health, because it is the one which is going into your lungs and spoiling your alveoli, the air sacs. Every puff you take, the air sac is slowly getting filled up. If your volume of your alveoli is 70 mm and slowly, if you're smoking, 70 becomes 20, 20, 20, 10, 12 like that. So the normal air what you take, you have to, normally we breathe around 12 to 15 times per minute, but a person whose alveoli are filled up, he has to breathe 3 times more, maybe 40, 50 times. So smoking is very injurious to health. And sedentary lifestyle, we have already talked about it. Now, these are what we call it as the diseases attributed to hypertension. Coronary heart diseases, heart failure, stroke, cerebral hemorrhage, chronic kidney, hypertensive encephalopathy, retinotherapy, the eyes, peripheral vascular diseases, aortic aneurysm, left ventricular hypertrophy, myocardial infarction. So hypertension leads to all kinds of problems, especially if you can see here, it is your brain, your blood vessel, the heart, the lungs, and your eyes, and various other organs. Now, there is what we call it as pre-hypertension. And this is pre-hypertension means, suppose I want to enter a room. I am outside. One second, please. Doctor, I will speak. I am on the webinar. Please, 1 minute. So, I want to enter a room. I am outside the room. When I am outside the room, I am normal. But once I am near the door, I am pre. I am about to enter the room. And once I enter the room, it is when I am afflicted with that. I am a diseased person. I am a patient. So, pre means before you are standing near the door, where the systolic blood pressure will be between 120 and 139 mmHg, and the diastolic 80 to 89 mmHg. So pre-hypertension is an alarm towards hypertension, giving you a warning that you are entering the room. And what you need to do, you have to have lifestyle changes to manage this pre-hypertension. And what are the things? Low sodium, sugar, carbohydrate, do exercise, limit alcohol, manage weight, waist, that is waist size. People with waist size of 38 and above are prone for many kinds of things, that is obesity. No tobacco, and manage stress. So this is the management of stress. You can look at this, blood vessel. Normally you can find this is the size. In pre-hypertension, you see that the size is reduced. And when you are hypertension, it is narrowed. Now, risk of pre-hypertension. For patient age 40 to 70 with blood pressure ranging from 115 to 185, the systolic, 75 to 115 mmHg diastolic. With each incremental increase of 20 mmHg in systolic pressure and 10 mm in diastolic pressure, risk of cardiovascular disease increases. So your heart and blood vessel with 20 mmHg increase in systolic and 10 in diastolic, you double the risk of getting heart diseases. Actually, it is said that pre-hypertension is not a disease. As I've told you, it is just you're entering the door. It is not hypertension. It is not an indication for drug treatment of hypertension. Does not have a BP goal. Does predict a higher risk for developing cardiovascular events. Does predict a higher risk of developing hypertension. Should be an incentive to improve lifestyle practices for prevention of hypertension and cardiovascular disease. So here, hypertension, it is said it's not a disease. You're just entering the room. That means you may be getting it. So you should be cautious. Take care at that time, and you can come out and be outside only, not going inside. Then hypertension, clinical manifestation. Frequently asymptomatic until severely and target organ diseases occurred. Fatigue, reduced activity tolerance, dizziness, palpitation, angina, dyspnea. So these are the factors, clinical manifestation for hypertension. You would feel fatigue. Oh, I am getting fatigue, I don't know. and you will have reduced tolerance to activity. That is, you don't want to do the activity of doing. Sometimes you feel you're tired, I want to take rest, and you have dizziness. Then you have palpitation, the heart beating more, then dyspnea, that is sleep problems. So all these are the clinical manifestation of hypertension. What are the target organ damage with hypertension? As I've told you, brain, eyes, heart, kidney, peripheral, vasculature. So these are the organs which are targeted by the hypertension. So in brain, hypertension leads to cerebrovascular diseases, transient ischemic attacks, ischemic strokes, cerebral infarcts. So these are connected with the brain. So the brain will have all these factors, failures. And in the eyes, retinotherapy, leading to blindness. That's the reason people with hypertension, they change the glass every 6 months because it goes on decreasing the eyesight, you go on increasing your lens of your glasses. The grade 1 is arterial vasoconstriction, the arteries get constricted. Arteriovenous nicking, hemorrhage, breaking of the blood vessels. Hemorrhage is breaking of the blood vessels. Then the heart, promoting atherosclerotic changes, enhancement of cardiovascular diseases, increase in the risk for heart diseases, internal heart disease. So these are the problems you get for the cardio, the heart, cardiovascular, the heart and the vessels. Then the kidneys. In the kidneys, the nephrosis, the nephrons, the one which filter, they are affected. Kidney lesions will be there, kidney failure will be there. So these are the factors which lead. And lastly, peripheral vasculature, that is in the periphery, we have the capillaries and the blood vessels which become narrowed and leading to less blood flow. Now, what are the diagnostic tests for this? We have CBC, complete blood count, urinalysis, that is urine analysis, where we have increased levels of proteins, inuria, hematuria, we have blood in the vessels, and then EKG, electrocardiogram, and cardiomegaly, enlargement of the heart. So these are the diagnostic tests which are used for knowing the hypertension. Now, tips to avoid hypertension. You can see this here clearly indicating the target organs and also how you need to avoid it. Hypertension is an usually high blood pressure in arteries. Avoid being overweight. Exercise regularly, the watchword. Eat all 5 food groups, nutrients, carbohydrate, fats, proteins, minerals, and the vitamins, plus water. And refrain from smoking and drinking alcohol. Avoid tension and be happy. Have health checkup at least once in a year. Very important. You need to have health checkup. People see that I'm very healthy, I don't want to go. No, you need to have, after the age of 40, definitely you need to go for a health checkup at least a year to find out what is going inside, because you can see physically everything in your body, your muscles and this thing, but physiologically inside you cannot. Only the checkup can tell you what is happening inside, the inside story. And the risk factors for this hypertension is unstable emotions such as extreme shock and extreme pleasure and hard labor. These are the risk factors. The tension should be avoided. Stress levels. Now, how to manage the hypertension? Here, there are a few charts. You can see here, many things are there. They are all repeated. The first thing is lifestyle modification. If I'm having certain kind of habits in me, I need to change them because I'm already a patient of hypertension. So I need to change my lifestyle. What we need to do here, he says weight reduction, 5 to 10% weight reduction in overweight person may lower cardiovascular risk factors. For every 1 kg weight loss, there is lowering of systolic and diastolic blood pressure by 2.5 and 1.5 mmHg respectively. Can you imagine 1 kg you lose? You will reduce 2.5 and 1.5 mmHg in systolic and diastolic pressure. Then DASH diet. DASH means dietary approaches to stop hypertension. Dietary approaches to stop hypertension. You need to take the DASH diet. It's rich in fruits, vegetables, and low at dietary foods combined to less saturated and total fat. Fat content less. A 8 to 14 mmHg reduction in systolic blood pressure can be produced by this DASH diet. You can see 8 to 14 mmHg. They are 2.5 to 1.5 in weight. Then another chart says 4 simple ways to manage hypertension. Control your weight, limit your intake of salt and sodium, eat healthy balanced diet, exercise on regular basis. DASH diet is very clear here, and lifestyle modification, reducing the weight, lifestyle modification of exercise. Important is exercise. Be active. Human body is made for locomotion, movement, not to be stationary. We need to move, and movement gives fitness to the body. If you don't move and be lazy, then definitely the lifestyle is sedentary. We need to move. As physical educationists, that is our watchful. We need to make them move, active, get them fit. So exercise, an important aspect of managing the hypertension. Benefits of lowering blood pressure. Average percentage reduction of 30 to 40% leads to stroke incidences. Myocardial infarction, 20 to 25% reduced. Heart failures, 50% reduced. Goal is to reduce overall the hypertension risk factors and control blood pressure. The blood pressure which is less than 140/90. Of course, in patients with diabetes, the goal should be 130 to 180 because diabetes is one where the problem is there with diabetes and hypertension. They are interrelated. Now, treatment of hypertension with medication. We have said that there are other things, but here I will just go through this faster because time is a constraint, I suppose. Medication, diuretics. So you can see that some of the what you can call it as steroids, drugs which are used to enhance performance. Drug abuse, what we call it in the athletic performances, they are used for controlling hypertension. Diuretics, beta blockers, calcium antagonists, ACE inhibitors, angiotensin 2 receptor antagonists. So you can see the pictures are very clear here, giving you indication of what diuretics are there. Increase the urine volume, beta blockers, then decrease the beta blockers, they decrease the heart rate, and then calcium antagonists block the calcium channels, inhibitors, AC inhibitors, conversion of angiotensin 2, and these are the one which are medication to treat hypertension. Now, prevention of hypertension. Reduce the risk of developing high blood pressure by making lifestyle changes. We've already said about it. Eat a healthy and well-balanced diet. We already talked about it. Reduce salt and fat intake. Very important. Sodium chloride, as we have talked, is important, but we need to reduce it, not for the taste part of it. Not the fat content we need to reduce. People try to take a full chicken, which is not necessary. We need 10 to 15 or 20 grams of protein every day for us. Maybe 4 to 5 pieces of meat or a chicken or anything. Which is a protein which is essential for our body, because protein, the factors which keep the macronutrients Carbohydrates, the fuel. Protein is a building material. Fat is the lining. It paints the organs. So we need the fat for building. Sorry, not building, for what we call it as painting the organs, lining the organs. And then exercise regularly, very important. Stop smoking, reduce alcohol and caffeine consumption to recommended levels, reduce weight. Of course, hypertension, emergencies, and urgencies. So whenever there is a nausea, vomiting, and hemorrhage of intracranial parts, then we need to have emergency. That is encephalopathy. Then we have heart, acute MI or left ventricular dysfunction, aortic aneurysm. So these are the emergencies for hypertension. But urgency, the emergency and urgency. No acute target organ damage. Here there is no acute organ damage. But earlier in emergency there is. So control blood pressure within minutes, 2 hours, gradual reduction in blood pressure to avoid MI and cardiovascular aspects, 20% or 25 mmHg initially and slowly to 160 by 100 mmHg medications. Now remember the basic dictum cold therapy. Blood pressure 140 by 90 mmHg is not stable or controlled. Of course, the categories are very clearly here, sophisticated classification. The category is optimal, less than 120, systolic, less than 80, diastolic. Normal, 130, less than 130, less than 85, systolic, diastolic. High normal, 130 to 139, systolic, 85 to 89, diastolic. Hypertension, stage 1, 140. You reached. You're in the door, inside the room. 140 to 159, systolic, 90 to 99, diastolic. Stage 2, 160 to 179, systolic, 100 to 109, diastolic. Stage 3, 180 and above. The systolic, 110 and above, the diastolic. Now, exercise for hypertension. You can see the chart where we have cardiovascular exercise, aerobics, what we call it, the heart. And you know that aerobic, each one of us as physical educationists knows that aerobic exercise is the one which is done at a moderate intensity for 20 minutes and above. Less than 20 minutes, the heart doesn't get, the cardio doesn't get affected. So above 20 minutes, at a stretch, without any rest in between, at a moderate intensity. So any aerobic exercise, walking, jogging, running, cycling, swimming, mountain climbing, whatever may be the type of exercise you do, the aerobics, it should be 20 and above. And that will reduce the cardiovascular diseases for you, make your heart conditioned. Then stretching exercises to keep all your joints mobile, because the joints, the ligaments are the one which keep the joint together, and this ligament should be elastic like a gymnast. He can bend the joints to any extent. The range of movement should be more. So stretching exercises very, very essential. And then strengthening exercises. Of course, I said 3 things are very essential: aerobics, resistance training, nutrition. Exercise and nutrition, they go together. So strengthening exercises, because our muscle, as we start aging, they lose the tenacity. Strength is lost. It's a natural process. So unless you indulge in the resistance training to build up your tension in the muscle, the strength will not be there, because the muscles are the one which take the strength. And if you have strength in the muscle, they take the effort. If the muscles become weak, the muscles cannot take no more, take the effort. It is going to the joints and you start getting pain, because the joint cannot take the resistance. So you need to have resistance training. 3 days aerobics or 4 days aerobics, 2 days at least. Resistance training is very, very essential for, somebody is disturbing. Thank you very much for this. Somebody has, okay. So this is very, very essential for having been training. I'm not telling anything new. This is what has earlier been known by each physical educationist. So exercise is the medicine, the watchword. It will definitely help not only the blood pressure, every aspect of your body. Then the last part of it, the fruits which are very, very useful in reducing the blood pressure. You can see a variety of fruits. And the Vice Chancellor was talking about, because she's a nutritionist, an expert, she was talking about how you need to avoid or make recipe for COVID-19. So here you can find there are many, many, many foods and fruits and vegetables which definitely help in controlling your blood pressure. You have garlic, lemon, parsley, amla, watermelon, banana, grapefruit, guava, blackberries, sunflower seeds, spinach. Thank you, gentlemen, who is making this disturbing. Thank you very much, very, very much for your nice drawing. I like it. Thank you very much. I know as physical educationists, we always have some tendency of coming out from the other side of it, on the negative aspect. So this is the nutrition aspect, because I have already told exercise and nutrition.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ibrahim, sir.
Yes. So the last one is their success is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Thank you very much.
Shall I conclude, Professor?
Yes, it's already. I said thank you.
Very, very interesting and very informative and interesting, and the need of the hour explanation was given by our legend in the field of physical education, rather than Professor Ibrahim sir, the senior professor in King Saud University of Saudi Arabia. Really, sir, we have enjoyed your presentation with all your clippings shown in the slides, and starting from the hypertension, what is blood pressure, how it arises, what are the systolic pressure, diastolic pressure, meaning, and everything you have shown it, and the factors affecting the blood pressure, then factors contributing the blood pressure, physiological variations, and what are the risk factors, symptoms, and how to manage BP. Everything was so nice, and any layman can understand and follow your lecture very easily. And with at last, you have given a very wonderful exercise programs also, particularly in the aerobic exercise for about 20 minutes without any break at a moderate level, and the stretching exercises and the strengthening exercises, and also the treatment factor is concerned. The meditation technique is technique you have mentioned, and all affecting the systems. It will be a very good informative information for the people who are listening. That is particularly the high BP affects the brain immediately, and then eyes leading to the blindness, and then heart functioning, and then myocardial infractions can be occurred in the heart is concerned, and as well as the renal failures, that is kidney failures, the nephrons will be affected, the purifying of blood will be modified. So all the physiological, just like a medical doctor, you have narrated the things from top to bottom in a very, very useful way, Professor. We were enjoyed. I hope that during this pandemic COVID-19 situations, many of us are in having very high tension, and moreover, we were in the lockdown period. Many of us have been put up more weight, and really your information and the guidelines will be useful for every one of us during this COVID-19 period. So, on behalf of the organizers, particularly Sri Sankaracharya Mahavidyalaya, the dynamic principal and director, Dr. Rajesh Singh, and the co-organizer, the dynamic organizer, Secretary Dr. Rajesh Kumar, the President of International Federation of Physical Education, Fitness and Sports Science Association, and all the organizing committee members, We extend our heartfelt thanks to the dynamic professor Syed Ibrahim sir for giving a wonderful lecture on exercise and hypertension, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your enlightening words and pleasing voice too. Though you are in abroad, you have contributed a lot in Osmania University when you are a professor, and you are extending your service after retirement also in abroad. And at present, during this COVID-19 period, you are giving you are using your expertise for the global people. Particularly, I understand that many people are attending Malaysia, Philippines, Pakistan, Singapore. Really, it's a very useful, and everyone will take care of your advice, and they can take care of their health also. Thank you very much, sir. Once again, I express my sincere thanks to the organizer, Dr. Rakesh Singh, Director and Principal of Sri Shankaracharya Mahavidyalaya, and Professor Dr. Rajesh Kumar, my good friend, the dynamic person, always inviting many people from all over the globe to attend this webinar is concerned at the COVID-19 period, international webinar on exploring new possibilities during this COVID period. Thank you one and all for your wonderful cooperation. Over to the organizers for further proceedings. Thank you, sir. Thank you one and all.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chandrasekhar. Really, for your nice words. MashaAllah. Thanks.
Thank you, Professor. You are deserving for that.
No, Allah. Thank you very much. Very kind of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Over to the organizers.
Hello. Am I audible?
So we can't hear you, sir.
Are you hearing madam now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Apart from all the participants who have joined from various parts of the universe or the world, we can say, I am thankful to all the participants for their keen interest in this particular webinar. And we have came to know that more than 350 participants at a time have joined. At the same time, I would also like to welcome and thank at the same time to observers from from Himchand Yadav University, Dr. Prashant Srivastav, Dr. Sheila Vijay Madam, Dr. Vijay Panchakshri Sir, Dr. K. Padmavati Madam, Dr. Preeta Lal Madam, Dr. Usha Kiran Agrawal Madam. Thank you, Madam, very much for joining and observing our sessions. And now I would request Rajesh Sir to take over the control. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Hi, good afternoon all. I request Dr. Professor Sir Salahuddin Sir from Pakistan to please words about the session.
Thank you very much. I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah, you are audible.
Thank you, Professor Rajesh, for giving me opportunity. And it's a wonderful webinar, international webinar. And Dr. Professor Syed Ibrahim Saab, his knowledgeable presentation. We have learned a lot, and I'm very much thankful to Professor Rajesh to giving me this opportunity. And the whole credit goes to the organizers and Professor Rajesh that in this COVID-19 pandemic, they have gathered us together us, and this is the third seminar webinar which I'm attending, and really it's wonderful experience to have this much knowledgeable people from all around the world, and especially Sir Ibrahim, Sir Rajesh, and other people, the badminton champion, I got his name. They was a wonderful. So with these words, I'm thankful to you and pray for your future, that in future we will again, inshallah, having this type of webinar and seminars, and may God save us from the coronavirus. And when this pandemic over, so we will have conferences like we have earlier in the past. So Rajesh sir, thank you so very much. You are doing very well job for the promotion of medical education and sports sciences, not only in your country, but in the world. I could say this, that you are a dynamic personality and you are doing a lot and wonderful job. Thanks. Thank you very much, all the participants, all the viewers, and all the listeners.
Thank you so much, sir. I request Shubho Kumar, sir, to please introduce our next speaker. Hello. Shubodh, sir, you can unmute and talk, sir. Shubodh, sir.
Hello. Hello. Hello, madam. I am audible.
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Madam, from my account, Professor Subodh Dwivedi will be introducing to Professor. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir. You're audible.
Thank you, ma'am. May I start?
Yes, sir, please.
Thanks, ma'am. Thank you very much, sir. I, Dr. Subodh Dwivedi, from Sri Shankaracharya Mahavidyalaya, feel honored to introduce Dr. Mirza Asuma, a great academician, great scientist, and above all, a great person. He is professor of agronomy at Shere Bangla Agricultural University, Dhaka, Bangladesh. He completed his Bachelor of Science in Agriculture honors from Shere Bangla Agricultural University, where he achieved first class, received a gold medal for being first in his class, and earned Shere Bangla Agricultural University award. He also completed Master of Science in Agronomy from the same university, where he once again topped in class, and in 2012 he received his PhD with the topic Plant Stress Physiology and Antioxidant Metabolism from the United Graduate School of Agricultural Sciences, Ehime University, Japan, with a Japanese government scholarship, that is MEXT. Later, he completed his postdoctoral research in the Center of Molecular Bioscience, University of Ryukyus, Okinawa, Japan, with a Japan Society for the Promotion of Society Science postdoctoral fellowship. Subsequently, he became an adjunct senior researcher at the University of Tasmania with Australian Government's Endeavour Research Fellowship. Professor Hasne Zuma has published over 140 articles in peer-reviewed journals and books, and he has edited 7 books and written over 30 book chapters on important aspects of plant physiology, plant stress responses, and environmental problems in relation to plant species. He is editor and reviewer for more than 50 peer-reviewed international journals and the recipient of Babylon's Peer Review Award continuously in the years 2017, 2018, and 19 in a row. He is a member of 40 professional societies and is the Research and Publication Secretary of the Bangladesh JSPS Alumni Association. He received the World Academy of Science Young Scientist Award in the year 2014. Professor Hasna Zuman is among the top 10 Bangladeshi researchers as per Scopus 2020 and one of the 5 researchers having more than 5,000 citations. His fields of specializations are agriculture, that is in crop science, plant stress physiology, sustainable agriculture, agronomic research methodology. Now, I invite Dr. Mirza Hasne to grace our webinar. Please, sir.
Thank you very much for your nice introduction. So I think we are already 30 minutes behind from our schedule. So so shall I start with full pace or shall I concise my presentation? So I seek advice from the organizers. So what is your opinion? So okay. So am I audible to everyone?
Sir. Hello.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Hearing.
Okay. So so today my talk is it's a very general topic. That means how we can address our education and research area in the post-pandemic era.
Great, sir.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to thank organizers. So as you know that the very recent memory with you people, it was very nice visit to Villa. I just visited your college in February in this year.
Yes, sir.
So this is another opportunity to meet you virtually, but I think this is a very good program, and you just organized a very massive webinar, around 300 participants. So
thank you very much.
So as you know, so everyone something about COVID-19, because this is now very common everywhere in the world, and we are suffering a lot actually. So I will not talk much about this COVID-19. So how we can manage this situation. So my talk is like this, and I will address mainly education sector and research sector. So everyone, you know that after World War II, so this is one of the biggest crises in the world history, and almost every country has been affected by the devastating coronavirus disease, that is COVID-19, which starts from China, but now it is everywhere in the world. And both Bangladesh and India is very much vulnerable to this pandemic, and I think India is third or fourth ranked in terms of affected people and death as well. So this is the statistics. So it is increasing day by day. So this is the alarming for both nations. And ultimately, it is affecting our financial condition because of many other factors like food security, our education, technological advances. Everything is being hampered due to this disease. So, but we are running with this situation, so we call it new normal. So we cannot avoid it very quickly. But COVID-19 is just like a mirror which showed our vulnerability, actual position in nature, interconnection of the whole world, dependency of human on nature, difference between luxury and necessity. our priorities and importance of sustainability. So our Vice Chancellor ma'am already talked about it, that now we can realize what is the actual situation and what to do actually, what is our necessity, what should be given priority. So COVID-19 has shown us many vital aspects in this area. And it also indicated what is our fault in our system and how we could maintain our environment, our lifestyles. This kind of things is now very, very clear to us. And today is my topic is about our future education under COVID-19 pandemic. So as you know, that education sector is much affected by this disease, this pandemic. As you know, in many countries, schools, colleges, universities are closed during last 4 months. Almost 100% of the schools and universities everywhere now closed. So as of March 30, over 166 countries, they have closed their schools and universities. And now I think almost 98 to 99% of the schools and colleges are now closed physically. So our new opportunity is online learning. So there are many kinds of online education system or learning system like cyber schooling, homeschooling, distance learning, e-learning, online public education, and so on. So these are our opportunities. Online education, we are talking about this too much nowadays because COVID-19 has shown that what is possible in near future and how our traditional education system will shift to a new system in near future. So there are several advantages of distance learning or online education, like access to resource. So we can access many things if you have only a computer and internet connection or any other device. And it's cost effective, like online courses work out to be very cheaper because no additional overhead cost here, and there is no commutation cost like transport cost and other things is involved here, so it is cost effective. And we can explore many technologies to address this situation. And for online education, we need to explore many kinds of platform. So this is one of the opportunity to explore some technologies, new technologies. And it is comfortable, of course, because you can take class from your bed, from your home. So it is very comfortable if you want. And no inequality, because every person, they have chance to take part in online class, and there is no discrimination among the students because of gender, race, religion, nationality, age, or physical appearance. Even disabled person can also take part in online education, and online learning helps students boost their confidence. It eliminates diversion. So they get a more personal attention, and this helps them to focus more because they can manipulate the situation, the classroom situation. And there are many other advantages, like you don't have to take notes because you will get the PowerPoint slides or class recording. They will upload videos and other teaching materials. So this is one of the advantages. The knowledge you want first. So this is very quick and rapid. Learn at your own pace. So for example, you are very slow in class, but in case of online education, you can hear it again and again if it is recorded, or you can get it later as well. And anytime, anywhere accessibility. So you can access it from anywhere, anytime. But there are some limitations also in terms of online education. For example, loss of management skill, because in the classroom you can manage many things, but in case of online education, you cannot manage many things. Many hidden things is there, And more importantly, parents may have difficult time in helping their children because they have to act as teacher, as guide, as evaluator, everything. So they have to be very careful about to manage their children, especially school students or before college. So this is extra pressure for parents. So one of the limitations is that, and less interaction. This is one of the limitations of online education. That is, students have a lesser chance to becoming independent and may lack of social and interpersonal growth, because in the school they can mix up with many people, many friends. So it doesn't happen during online education. So this is one of the limitations, that is less interaction and lack of encouragement. So you cannot get direct communication with your teacher, with your mentor. So students who are learning online may not often get motivated. This is one of the limitations. And as I told you earlier, that more pressure on parent, because exclusively they are at home. So parents have to play diverse role in case of online teaching or learning. And there are many other disadvantages like low motivation and bad study habits, lack of routine structure, because online education they don't have precise time limit or class routine. So they are just disorganized. So for example, during school time, traditional school time, students used to go to school very early in the morning and come back in time. But in case of online education, this is not possible. And instructor may not be available sometimes. They send their recordings, they send their slides to online platform. So this is one of the disadvantages. And work alone, because online education, you are alone, you are listening the lectures from your teacher, but in a classroom there is a different environment. This is one of the disadvantages. And the very challenging thing is exam, because we are taking online classes, but taking exam is very challenging in many cases. That's why the many countries, many schools, many colleges, many universities, they are still thinking how to how to take this online education opportunity completely to their system, because exam is a challenge. But some countries, they have already taken initiative for online education. For example, Bangladesh, our country government has started telecasting high school level classes through our national television. So this is one of the initiative by our government. I think India also have taken some of these initiatives, and this is we call it My Home, My School. So you can take your lesson from your home through TV or through online channels. But there are some challenges in online education. We are talking much about it, but we are not yet know what are the main challenges, like lack of devices. Even many people, many students, those who are living in rural area don't have access to devices. Lack of internet is one of the problems. Lack of awareness. Many students, they are not aware about online education. Lack of technical efficiency. Many poor people, many people they are living in a remote area don't have technical efficiency. And of course, in some cases, teachers are not very skilled about online teaching. So for example, e-learning at tertiary education is still, we are suffering many problems. As you know that almost 100% of the students now away from the classroom. In South Asia, just 100% completely they are away from their classroom. So our immediate challenge is to address this problem. And what are the challenges? So staff and student illness, these are the challenges, because they can get contaminated when they will go to the classroom. and there are some displacement because students are now everywhere. They just moved to different places. This is one of the problem. And we cannot go for online class also because technology platforms are not yet very easily accessible. So this is one of the challenges. And instructional operations is one of the challenges because COVID-19 has come very quickly, very suddenly. So we could not train our teachers, our students, that these kind of things are coming and you just get prepared to take online classes. So this happens very rapidly. So this is one of the challenges, how we can capture our students, how we can involve them in online teaching, online learning, and how we can involve our teachers in online teaching. So these are the challenges now, and especially research operation to people who are doing research in field in remote areas. So these kind of things like research activities is very difficult from distance. So this is one of the challenges for tertiary education, for especially because we are dealing with both classroom education, also dealing with research activities. So research cannot be done remotely. So this is one of the biggest challenges ever. So, so the great pivot online is we can act some short-term plan like using video conferencing, creating help desk, and some medium term like strengthening national and institutional capacity. We can create some online platform, some common platform, some television channel. These are medium term plan, and we can mobilize widely used and rapidly available, readily available resources like cloud, like mobile phone we can use because everyone we have mobile. So this can be prioritized initially, and we can initiate some one-stop shop of resources. So we can get every resource, everything from one place, and we can take care of administration. We can manage our faculty and students from one place. So this would be one of the initiative. And curating existing content. Even some of our teacher, we have some content we can put it to our website. Our Vice Chancellor Palta ma'am, he already mentioned that hundreds of videos have been uploaded to university website. So this is one of the initiatives that you have taken, because now student can learn from those videos. So this kind of things we can initiate immediately, and communication with faculty, students, and others to provide their guidance. So this is very important in this situation. So we have to ask why it is important, why online education or distance learning is important, and how we can design what is very user friendly and which is readily available for our students, for our teachers, and empower teachers. This is one of the immediate action we have to take. So our teachers, some of our teachers, they are not very comfortable in using online resources and online tools, techniques, media. So we have to empower our teachers, and we have to engage the ecosystem. That means multi-stakeholder approach. So both government, telecom companies, IT sectors, publishers. So everyone should take part a vital role and in coordinated way. So how easily we can provide those online platforms for our students, for our teachers. So still we are facing challenges, because I told you that coronavirus has come very rapidly in January. So now we just 5 months. So we could not improve our capacity. So capacity building is very poor in these areas. For example, in our subcontinent. So online classes for university students in Bangladesh during the COVID-19 pandemic, is it feasible? So Not yet, not yet, because I can show you. So why it is not feasible? Lack of internet is one of the problem. Financial problem. This is also in every universities in Bangladesh. I think in some Indian universities also, because we need to support online system to create a better system. So it will take so financial involvement. So our mindset is one of the important things. Some teachers, some students, they are not yet mentally ready to take online classes. So this is one of the challenges. And some subjects are very, very technical, like engineering, like medicine, like biological science. They are practical. So only 13% students, they believe that online assessment will be feasible. So this is one of the challenges, how we can create a very effective and very representative exam system. So this is one of the important thing. Even survey revealed that 50% of the students are not supported by proper internet connection. So almost half of the students are still away from proper internet connection, which is required for a dynamic online platform. So this is one of the challenges. And think about the mobility, because coronavirus has affected our education system a lot. In a recent survey by QS ERA India, they found that 48% of Indian students, they already changed their mind, who were previously supposed to be abroad for their higher education, but they changed their mindset because they don't know what will happen in next few months. So they have changed their mind. And you can see science, technology, engineering, and mathematics students are still they are waiting for their future education. But other sectors, students are already changed their mind that they will remain in their own country due to the coronavirus pandemic. So these are the factors that affect these initiatives. Okay, I will not show this. And what is the main problem? I already told you that internet connectivity is one of the problems. So our internets are very, very, very slow. So in case of online classes, so we should be very stable in terms of internet connection. So in that case, our government and policymaker, they should think about this thing. Academic staff capacity to deliver remote courses. So their capacity should be built up, because most of the faculty members are active online, but many have not taught in online mode before this crisis. So before this crisis, just in December, in January, they did not take any class before that. So now what will happen, we don't know, because many of them will not take online class very effectively. So our capacity building should be taken into consideration. And students' capacity to adapt. So also students also need some training, how to take part in online classes, what are the factors, what are the rules, regulations, this kind of thing we should take care of. And there are some mistakes also in case of web-based service. So internet connectivity, in many cases, there is a chance of mistakes. So we have to be very careful in terms of online education. So this is one of the challenges. And regulation. So because online education is relatively new in our areas, in our subcontinent, in South Asia, so there are still very, very vulnerable system. And regulation, some regulations are very friendly, but some regulations are very, very tough to follow. And for very loose regulation, so online education can be misused. But on the other hand, in case of some strict regulations, we cannot use many platform, many system very easily. So we need an effective regulation that will make online education system user friendly. So now we come to our research, because without research, a nation cannot develop very well, because of coronavirus, many factors that are affecting our research activities, both in medical science research or biological science research, even social science research. The first is the income and funding priorities. So because of coronavirus pandemic, 40% researchers felt the pandemic has shifted research effort away from their important issue, because previously there was some priority issues, but now government are thinking only the coronavirus pandemic. So these kind of things has shifted. So now researchers are thinking what will happen in their own areas. And the second one is the amount of time colleagues can devote to research, because we cannot move very easily, very freely. So we cannot go to the lab, we cannot go to the field very frequently. So this is hampering our research activities. The third challenge is ability to conduct research remotely. So we cannot conduct research online. So this is one of the challenges. So this will definitely hamper our research output in coming years. In a survey, almost 28% of the respondents said their ability to access resources. So we cannot access resources, instrument, reagents, chemicals, etc. during the lockdown. So this is one of the factors we are facing these days. And you can see that many respondents, they have put positive thing only based on use of digital tool. We are using many digital tool for our research, but in case of other parameters like use of research material, funding, job security, everything will be negative. You can see they're decreasing due to the coronavirus pandemic. Only one thing is increasing, that is use of digital tool for research. But many of the research cannot be done only with using digital tool or online learning, teaching, etc. So this is one of the problems. And they shifted to home. Many people are, more than 80% researchers, they moved to home. So as a result, the reduce in intensity, intensified research will not happen. Continued as normal, it is decreasing less than 20%. So these are the factors that are hampering our research activities. So we have to rethink how research is funded. So how we can get fund in coming days, and revision which research is funded. So previously we got fund in some areas, but now after pandemic, we have to think which areas will be prioritized. So we have to find those field, those areas, and we have to apply for those fund for those kind of research. So this is one of the challenges which will come in the near future. And publishing model also we have to rethink, because now previously we were just thinking about peer-reviewed journal publication or book publication, but now scientists are thinking about preprint. So they just put their paper online before peer review, so that their findings can be read by many people. But there is some bad side also, I'll show you later. And reconsider how we communicate science. So what will be the communication system, because after pandemic, so we are now not so mobile. So we have to communicate distantly. So we have to think a new platform, new system of communication, how to communicate science. And drug development research is now in the front line, because the scientists are trying hard to develop some drugs, some vaccine for coronavirus, but this is a very, very complex issue. So because they are interrelated, many kinds of factors are interrelated here. So still yet we are thinking about this. And research on immunity development is one of the important things, because coronavirus, I think, so Dr. Said Ibrahim already mentioned many things beside hypertension, that immunity is one of the important things for our body. So if you have strong immune systems, you can fight against any disease. So researcher is now thinking and prioritizing research on immunity development. So what does immunity look like? This is a complex question, and immunity to the coronavirus remains a mystery. Scientists are trying to crack the case because this is a very complex issue. So in future, we have to design many research to address these immunity issues. And every day we are learning new things. So in a recent paper, we found that airborne transmission is also one of the cause of coronavirus dissemination. So now a mask matter, of course. Previously there was a confusion whether a mask is very effective or not, but now scientists prove that this is the paper published in Proceeding of National Academy of Science, USA. So they reported that coronavirus can transmit through air. So we should wear mask every time when we are outside of our home. And I was talking about new publication model, that means preprint. So that made the scientific publication just drowning. These scientists are drowning in COVID-19 paper. Can tools keep them afloat? Because you can see since January, it has reached more than 23,000 papers, and it doubling every 20 days. Every 20 days, number of publication is doubling. That means there are some insignificant papers as well. So people are getting published every day because coronavirus issue is very hot topic, and COVID-19 papers are being or being accepted by the journal, the publisher. So the trend of publication is very rapid nowadays, and you can see it is very interesting that so a couple of weeks ago, I was reading a paper that coronavirus killed by sound vibration produced by Thali or Ghanti, a potential hypothesis. So this kind of paper is also being published. So I am asking you people, what is your hypothesis? So actually, we need to publish a very supportive literature or very concrete statement in this situation. Otherwise, people will be distracted. So we have to be very careful about our research and publication as well. But the vital one is still in the queue. That is coronavirus vaccine. So would it be the most desirable invention in the history if we can do this? But scientists are still trying, and already patient injected in Europe's first human trial on COVID-19 in late April, just 2 months ago. So we are hoping for the best, but still we are lack of funds. So funders should prioritize research areas, and WHO, they have set some priority areas. That natural history of the virus, this is one of the priority areas of research. Animal and environmental research, this is one of the priority areas. Epidemiological studies, a priority area. Clinical characterization of and management of the disease is one of the priority areas. Another area is infection prevention and control, including best way to protect healthcare worker. And research and development for candidate therapeutics and vaccine, this is very vital. And ethical consideration for research, because we are doing many research, but there is ethical issue in every research. So we have to take care of these issues as well, as per World Health Organization. And last one is integration of social sciences into outbreak response. This is one of the example, because we are wearing masks, we are maintaining social distance. This kind of research also need to be prioritized as per World Health Organization. They have suggested this kind of priority areas. And food security is very vulnerable in after coronavirus pandemic, and it will be even deteriorate in coming days, months, and also for several years. Because even people have in a country have food, but they don't have access to food. They cannot purchase food because of financial problem, and also due to transportation problem. So this would be one of the major threat after coronavirus pandemic. So we need research how to improve our food security system in these countries. So food security is a hotspot in our areas because there are many factors like logistics, distribution, social distancing. These kind of things are making this food security vulnerable. And already 820 million people who are already chronically food insecure before coronavirus. So the number will be more than 1 billion or 1.5 billion in coming years. So world will suffer from food shortage, food accessibility, and food quality as well due to coronavirus pandemic. So we need proper research how to improve the food production as well, food quality, and also access to food in every areas. And there are many impact of the coronavirus pandemic on agriculture, like food security, food demand, disrupt food processing and distribution, lowering the income of the farmers, and huge wastage and lower price of vegetable and fruits because of transportation problem, and inadequate irrigation facilities because of the movement of machineries and other things, and inadequate pest control measures because farmers are not willing to go outside. So these kind of things will affect agricultural productivity and food security multiple ways. So you can see food supply, accessibility, and food demand before pandemic and after pandemic. Both food security and food demand will be decreased. So as a result, people will suffer from food availability and also food accessibility due to several factors. So these kind of things also should be taken under consideration, and research areas should be prioritized considering these issues. But some government are now considering some temporary solution, like this is called stimulus packages, because some countries like India have already announced I think 24 billion US dollar to many sectors. Bangladesh also announced 8 billion US dollar to many sectors like agriculture sector, medicine sectors to manage this situation. So this is one of the temporary solution, I think. But how much of it will be used for research? This is a question. So is this money will be spent, portion of this money will be spent for proper research so that we can make our food system, our agriculture, our medical science sustainable? Yes. I think CGIAR, Consultative Group of International Agricultural Research, they have already made a platform, COVID-19 Hub, to support global scientific response. So they have coordinated almost 3,000 partners around the world to address this issue and building back better look like food, water, and land system to improve those systems so that we can produce enough food in near future. And they have already raised some fund, and they are announcing some fund to address those kind of issues. And they will, I think, manage those kind of research work so that we can ensure our food security in near future. So I'm very pleased to inform you that our Prime Minister already sanctioned 5,000 crore taka to our farmers so that they can take loan at very low interest, 4% interest rate, so that they can continue their agricultural practices to ensure our food security. And she is very strict, and she already instructed that farmers not to leave even an inch of land uncultivated. So this is our our government's immediate action towards COVID-19 pandemic in terms of agricultural production, because agriculture is the backbone of our country. So we need to prioritize agriculture and agricultural research as well. So there are many dimensions of actions to address COVID-19 pandemic. So we need to work collaboratively. So collaborative approach is needed to address the pandemic situation. And there are some points to be considered that we need alternative teaching learning method to address education system. Digitalization is very vital. E-governments, we already know about this, but we need to apply this to every sector. Finding priority research areas. So what areas are important? So we need to prioritize those things. And strengthening health sector. This is very important nowadays because health workers are working a lot, supporting a lot to our people. So we need to strengthen this sector immediately and protect our environment because now we are realizing what is nature and what nature can do. So we need to prioritize this sector also. We need research to improve our surrounding environment and integrated approach in research and development. So every sector to take part in this action, there is a need of collaboration. So in that way, we can overcome our future post-pandemic situation and change our lifestyle. So don't waste food, don't live unhealthy. So now we are wearing masks. Everyone are wearing masks, but before pandemic, no one. Even we are going outside, we are going to dust, smoke without mask. So now we can realize that what nature can do. So we have to change our old habit and we have to go to new habit, which is better for our society, better for our health, better for our country, our nation, and also to our planet. So COVID-19, so no panic, be strong and get ready. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mirza. Hello.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Mirza. You enlightened the perspective of COVID-19 undoubtedly to an untouched section so far in our webinar. Thanks a lot for your valuable time and sharing your knowledge with us. On behalf of the organizing team, I wish you and your family good health in this pandemic period. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Moving ahead, from being a soft trainer and a teacher trainer, our next speaker has a great portfolio of being ex-member of Central Board of Studies for English, member of Board of Studies in several autonomous institutions in the state. With a concrete ground of 38 years of experience, he served as an NSS officer, NCC officer for 25 years, and now he is serving as head in Department of English, Government College, Puri, in District Durg, Chhattisgarh. Describing his entire portfolio in this short time is next to impossible. So, without wasting time anymore, I am gladly introducing him to you all. Dear participants, please welcome Dr. Tapas Mukherjee. I am handing over the control to you, sir. The platform is all yours now. Dr. Mukherjee.
A very good afternoon and greetings from the steel city of Bhilai, Chhattisgarh. On a virtual platform like this, when you happen to be the last speaker and you are well acquainted with the fact that you cannot even create a semblance of that Peruvian magic of words, leave aside content, you feel a little apprehensive. The apprehensions are all the more because In the last 6 months or so, we have steadily witnessed a surge, almost a surfeit of ideas, responses, arguments, anticipations, and let me admit, even some soothsaying. Academicians, scientists, doctors, politicians, administrators, and the list is endless. They have voiced their concern about the COVID situation and about the post-COVID world in general. I express on behalf of the organizers of this webinar my sincerest thanks to the management of Shankaracharya Mahavidyalaya, our very illustrious educationist, Shri I.P. Mishra ji, his team of dedicated academicians and administrators, precisely Dr. Raksha Singh, Director, Dr. Rao, Additional Director, and the whole team of Shankaracharya Mahavidyalaya, especially Dr. Rahul Mene, and all the team who have been working behind the curtains to make this webinar a success. I would also like to thank, from the depth of my heart, our Vice Chancellor, who not only has very concrete plans for this university, but has always been a guiding light for all the academicians here. And we thank you, ma'am, for giving us this opportunity to raise the academic standards of this university precisely by giving us that leverage, that freedom that you were talking about, in which we could go about in our academic pursuits. We here in Bhilai are extremely privileged today because we had with us, amongst us, a celebrity of our nation, none other than the Padma Bhushan awardee Pulela Gopi Chand, who is the recipient of the third largest award, the Padma Bhushan, the third largest civilian award, the Padma Bhushan. And I extend on behalf of all the Bhilayans a very warm invitation, sir, to come here physically when the world is free of corona, when the world has reigned the march of the coronavirus, to invigorate the spirit of the youth of our state. You have, sir, I must admit, with your oratorial volleys of smashes, drives, drops, and swerves, for your proficiency, sir, in both in court and out of court is exemplary, because it is as exemplary as those matchless sportsmen like Saina Nehwal and P.V. Sandhu. who have done India proud. So, a big thank you from the bottom of our heart, and I also acknowledge the expert opinions and views of the other speakers of this webinar, Professor Said Ibrahim of King Fahd University, Saudi Arabia, Dr. Mirza Asuma of Sher-e-Bangla, Agricultural University, Dhaka, and Professor Rajesh Kumar. Professor Hassanuzzman, it was one of the most knowledgeable. You created huge vistas of knowledge for many of the scholars and researchers all over the globe by your forecast about what is going to happen in the field of education and research, especially in a post-COVID world. Professor Hassanuzzman, my big salute on behalf of all the people here in India and abroad for showing us the way. At the outset, let me introduce my topic once again. The topic that I have chosen for today's webinar, and let me admit, I'm a man of humanities, and the perspective of a man of humanities will be a little different, which Professor Hassanuzzman has indicated, because his approach has been extremely collaborative, because he has mentioned how researchers in the areas of social sciences are open for all, because COVID situation is not something that has to be understood only in a scientific perspective, but there are many tangential areas, there are many allied areas through which this particular area has to be witnessed, analyzed, and inferences arise at. So let me introduce my topic once again. As I said, the topic I chose was COVID-19, pause, get set, go. I purposely chose this topic because I knew I was going to speak amongst a majority of sports personnel. So I chose rather purposefully vocabulary from the field of sports in order to make my point explicit. And the second part of my lecture is the resilience of the human spirit. Let me begin with a very small analogy, and I take this analogy from the celebrated astronomer and scientist Carl Sagan, who, in a very celebrated essay of his, he described the magnitude of the universe by prodding us to imagine all the grains of sand in all the seashores of the world. He eggs us on to imagine that if all these grains of sand lying in all the seashores of the world would represent the infinitesimal magnitude of the universe, and if you were to take a single grain of sand and consider it to be of the dimension of the sun, then you'll have to break this one grain of sand into 1.3 million pieces and that infinitesimally minute speck of invisible matter, if I may say so, would constitute what is the dimension of our earth. And standing today, we, the mighty human race, standing on such a speck in comparison to the magnitude of the universe, we are here to repeat the same mistakes once again. Mistakes that we should not have committed. Mistakes which we should not carry forward, and from where we should try to make amends. So this pause button is a button that should be pressed. Invariably, it is nature's way of holding us, the whole of humanity, in range, to introspect, to think, where have we gone wrong? I'm not going to elaborate much because we all understand what I am hinting at. I'm hinting at precisely at the overexploitation of the sources of our earth. If the 2018 Nobel Prize was any indication, the 2018 Nobel Prize, it went to two American economists, and it went to William Norbert and Paul Romer for redefining economic growth, and the academic world recognized the contribution that these two economists had made in the field of correlating economic growth with sustainable development. So, I will not take much time. The pause button is on. We need to rethink the goals, our objectives today, and redefine what prosperity, economic growth, development, and all these parameters that within inverted comma, that in a totally different context altogether, what Frantz Fanon has mentioned in his celebrated book, The Wretched of the Earth, what he calls intellectual independence from a dominant ideology within inverted commas. So we need to rethink. We need to rethink everything, and that is why we must make full use of this pause to understand the objectives, so that another COVID situation does not completely annihilate the world. The second point is the issue of get set. And before I come to this, a few days ago, in one of the articles that I read, and today, as this webinar is being held, the total number of COVID cases around the world has crossed, or is likely to cross, the 10 million mark. This is a big figure. This is a big number. And in an article that I read a few days ago, I came to learn that if you were to take the grammage, means the total weight of all the viruses that has infected the whole of humanity around the world, its total weight, its total grammage would come to around 2.5 grams. So, don't you think that when we are talking of the magnitude of the universe and we talk of that tiny speck that constitutes our world, and in that tiny speck, if that 2.5 gram of coronavirus could cause such havoc, this is time for us to rethink many things that we have not. Otherwise, history would never forgive us. The second point that I have is that we have to get set for what lies ahead. Because my athlete friends and people coming from the sports and even everyone who has participated in sports knows that as we prepare ourselves for a sprint, the first thing we do is we get set. We get set when we concentrate all our energies for the whistle, for that fire to go. So, getting set today in these days of Corona, I must say that we need to prepare ourselves, and preparations are already on. India, which 4 months ago did not prepare even a single PPE kit, now India has become the second largest manufacturer of the PPE kits. If there is any challenge that is given to our country braces up and meets the challenge within no time. Here lies the tenacity of Indians who work in this democratic, socio-democratic system, and despite the multiplicity of ethnicities, religions, caste, creed, etc., we are one. And India is definitely marching in every sphere. And we as Indians, we take pride of the fact that our Prime Minister too has been vocal about an Atmanirbhar Bharat. And I'm just going to broach about how during this COVID times, when we find that globalization has become a taboo word, because someone did say that globalization, that COVID-19 situation was the last nail in the coffin of globalization. And if there is any term known as deglobalization, let me admit that the process of deglobalization has already started. And if we can see the changes in our society 4 months ago, when there was a sudden drop in the employment rate in our country, we were all very apprehensive all the people who have migrated from the urban areas to the rural areas, the constant employability, the employment rate has been steadily increasing and has almost reached that scale to where it was before the COVID days. This is a very big achievement, and as I was saying, that the migrant population that used to remain, that was which was there in our cities, millions and millions of them. Our government, NGOs, Samaritans, the whole of society, they saw to it that this whole of this migrant population, they come back to their own homelands, into their own homes. And this is a universal phenomena, because let me share this. I was reading an article, and courtesy Dainik Bhaskar, the Tokyo correspondent Julian Real, in whose survey we have come to know that this is a universal phenomena, because in the cities of Tokyo and the other areas of Hokkaido and Honshu, in the suburban areas of Hokkaido and Honshu, and a survey was conducted, and in that survey, 50% of the urban population have expressed their views that they wish to go back to their own places. They wish to go back to their villages. So, as you see, this exact phenomena is a universal phenomena, because for years together, we have seen the flight of population from the rural to the urban. COVID has shown us that this is going to be a migration from the urban to the rural. And it is here, you see, because India happens to be an agricultural country. So this urban population, when it will merge with the population that they have had left behind at home, when they will ideate, when they will collaborate, society will evolve as a more self-sufficient society, a society that will not have to depend upon the benediction of others, and a society that will be able to create solutions to its own problems. So the reset button is the button where the whole of India and other rural economies are already geared up to meet the challenges. And it is here that the resilience of the human spirit is to be mentioned. Because it is this indomitable spirit of man that makes him face the challenges in his own indomitable spirit. So, let me recount a few success stories. My friend from Bangladesh, he did mention about digital inequality and how digital inequality would probably lead to a divide between the privileged and the unprivileged. Let me recount here in this August forum a small innovative idea that was reported in the Times of India 2 days ago. And this innovative idea is from a very small village in Jharkhand called Tumka. When the school authorities came to this conclusion that 204 students out of 246 students did not possess any smartphones. The school came out with a very innovative idea of not only creating social distance between the students, but also conduct classes with using a network of loudspeakers. Something that in India we are all very well acquainted of. When there is a religious ceremony, when there is a Ramayana that is being sung, you will find that the whole of the village in the far and distant corners of the village, you will have these loudspeakers. And from these loudspeakers, wherever people are, they will be able to listen to the sermon. Here also in the Dumka, just the network of loudspeakers saw to the problem of the multitude of students who did not have this. So we have solutions to almost everything, and because we are running out of time, let me recount with the success story of Dharavi, which was also recounted in the Times of India a few days ago. My very knowledgeable friends here in India and in other countries may know as well that Dharavi has the dubious distinction of being Asia's largest cluster, where the population density is 2,27,136 persons per square kilometer. I'll repeat it again, 2,27,136 persons per kilometer. So when the outbreak of corona took place in Arabi, you can imagine the fear that ran through the administration, the fear that ran through it was a chilling fear that ran through the hearts of almost every. Let me recount the statistics as to how a country like India, with its very capable administrators, with its very capable scientists, and its vibrant society, it checked the corona growth rate from 12% in April to 4.3% in May to 1.02% in June. This is no mean feat because it required a lot of planning, it required a lot of preparedness, and the whole of the community is collaborated together and thought out ways and means to get out of this crisis. This is the resilience of Indians. This is the resilience which others should also emulate. And let me end by this spirit, this individual, this indomitable spirit of man and the resilience that man would invariably exhibit in overcoming the crisis. So, thank you all for listening patiently to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for your thought-provoking lecture. You have truly justified your title, Pause, Get Set, Go, the Resilience of the Human Spirit. As you have propounded the human spirit with the universe, and thereby giving your explanation over exploitation of resources, redefining economic growth with sustainable patterns, and use of pause to understand the objectives as the get set goes has shows the resilience of Indians during this COVID period, and in a very systematic manner you have given your lecture. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I hand over the next part of vote of thanks to Dr. Archana Jha, madam, head of the department, Hindi. Ma'am.
Thank you, sir. A very good evening to everyone. मैं डॉक्टर अर्चना झा इस एक दिवसीय वेबिनार में उपस्थित समस्त जनों का अभिनंदन करती हूं और सॉरी मैं डॉक्टर अर्चना झा इस एक दिवसीय वेबिनार में उपस्थित समस्त जनों का अभिनंदन करती हूं और आभार प्रदर्शन के दायित्व का निर्वहन करते हुए महाविद्यालय परिवार की ओर से सर्वप्रथम मैं ईश्वर को धन्यवाद देते हुए इस आयोजन से जुड़े हमारे कीनोट स्पीकर, विश्वविद्यालय से जुड़े अतिथिगण, वक्तागण एवं 300 से अधिक प्रतिभागीगण जो विभिन्न देशों से लगभग विश्व के 18 देशों से जुड़े हैं और जो कि Zoom, YouTube एवं Facebook के माध्यम से जुड़े हुए हैं, जो एक बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट है हमारे महाविद्यालय के लिए। अतः आप सभी को मैं धन्यवाद देती हूँ तथा मैं आभारी हूँ हमारे महाविद्यालय की मैनेजमेंट के प्रति तथा धन्यवाद देती हूँ इस आयोजन से प्रत्यक्ष व अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से जुड़े समस्त जनों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। अब मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देते हुए कॉलेज एंथम के लिए आप सभी को आमंत्रित करती हूँ। कॉलेज एंथम के समाप्त होते ही यह आयोजन भी समाप्त हो जाएगा। पुनः आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
अरे शंकराचार्य कौन सा आपको तो मैं देखी बंद करूंगा बंद कर देता हूँ क्योंकि बिगाड़ रहे हैं आगे बंद कर देता हूँ
हो गया थैंक यू सो मच खदान बन गया सब जगह से जैसे तेरे को पता नहीं चलेगा कौन
थैंक यू वेरी मच सभी
Hello. The webinar is now officially closed. The webinar is now officially closed. Thank you. Thank you very much for the kind participant. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
अब बंद कर दो जितना देखोगे टेंशन होगा
Participant